What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. It is Monday, July 7th, 2025, year of our Lord. Let's get it in. Let's get it in. I am adjusting. I am adjusting. And the reason that I am adjusting is because I just got this notification. Let's see if I could throw it up on the screen really quickly. AirDrop, MacBook Pro. Some of you may be wondering, like, man, the show started like almost 15 minutes later than whatever it was that it was scheduled, right? And I'm gonna show you why. This is why. This is a text message that I just received. I modified it slightly so that wouldn't have any pertinent information on there. But literally, this is what I just received a second ago, right? And this happened literally right before the show started. We are aware that you may be experiencing a service interruption and are working to resolve this issue. I don't know how they got 7:35 Eastern. We apologize for any inconvenience and appreciate your patience, so on and so forth. So, for whatever reason, in this particular area, for this particular business, I've had to make some adjustments, and I pay, some of y'all seen how much I pay, but I pay an egregious amount of money. An egregious amount of money for my internet. So I basically had to go and make some adjustments, and I got my Starlink out there, and I got other options or whatever for me to be able to pivot. I keep my Starlink with me. I keep it with me when I go out of town now. I keep it with me in a lot of places. I got multiple different options that I can stream through, but I. Well, Nola says, can you switch providers? Technically, I can. It's kind of wired through the building, and so when you have a business address, everything is wired through the building because technically it's supposed to be business class / fiber and all of that stuff. But it's just ignorant. It's just dumb. It's stupid. It's very stupid. So I don't know. Maybe I should call. I know AT&T got some kind of service in the area. AT&T, in my opinion, is just too slow. Their service be too slow. So yeah, it's other options, and I might have to make some adjustments. But we here today. It could be worse. And you know what? That was the thing. That was the thing when I was driving in today. I was thinking to myself, it could be worse. Yeah, my internet is messing up, but we still able to do the show. Yeah, I might have a couple different issues with people being late as far as contractors showing up to the properties, but it's people that's homeless. I could complain about this or that, or you can complain that this woman is particularly, a woman in your life is, and I'm not talking about me, because I've learned after hours that you got to make sure that you preface what you say by indicating that you're not talking about yourself. But I'm just naming different problems in general. Some of you guys could be sitting there and saying, "Man, this little hussy is stressing me out. She whining and she complaining and she can't never do right and none of that." But there's some dudes that got to beat their hand off every day. They girlfriend is their hand. So it's like, you know, could be worse, could be better. You take the good with the bad, you know. She talk a lot, but at least her mouth work, right? You try to make lemons or lemonade out of lemons. You know what I'm saying? So look, it's somebody somewhere, and we're gonna have this conversation about a lot of the different subjects that we cover. Um, it's somebody somewhere that's suffering. It's somebody somewhere that's in jail. We complain about the women, and yes, the women do need to step their game up. But it's some guy that's trying to protect his virginity in jail from, you know, giving up that man butt. We here, we all here. I know that if you got a profile picture, you're not trying to, you know what I'm saying, save your bussy. That's just the truth. We all can look at the glass half empty. We all got problems. We all got issues. I was talking to a buddy of mine over the weekend, and he's a newscaster. And I have a new level of respect for creators and newscasters and people that basically are publicly facing, because they have to be on 100% of the time, regardless of what's happening in their house. So your house could just been burned down, and you got to get up there and like, hey guys, and today is the news, and it's Monday, and guess what? Over on the east side, and they gotta put it together because that's their job. That's the job they gotta do. You know what I'm saying? I got a new level of respect for celebrities and different people that always gotta be on, because the minute that they blink the left way, they're like, oh my God, he's going through a divorce. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing. Everything is a blessing. Having problems is a blessing, because that means that you got motion. Just remember that. Having problems is a blessing, because that means that you got motion. So even if you got you a little big head woman that is giving you a headache every day and all of that stuff, if she fit, if you know what I'm saying, she ain't got no diseases, if she ain't cheating on you, keep that little hoe. Keep that little hoe. You know what I'm saying? Skip it. Hold. We gotta adjust. You gotta adjust. There's no point. Ain't nothing out there. They all the same. They all talk the same. They built different. They look different. Some taller, some shorter, some a little wider. Now, if she get too wide, then that's a different conversation. But they all the same, bro. At the end of the day, they all think the same. They talk the same. They do the same. They the same. They all a headache, but our headache is just something that we got to deal with. It's not like we gonna let them go. So you might as well just hold on to them and just be like, oh, okay, cool. Learn how to ignore them when to ignore them. Learn to choose your battles. Learn to adjust, and just be like, okay, cool, you got it, and then bend them over and do what you got to do. It is what it is. It is what it is. It just is what it is. Greg Blaze says, no ID. I've been womanless for 8 months and it's been peaceful. God bless you. You have a different level of monkness in you that I personally have never been able to master just this far. I'm not. I can't. I don't think that I've been without a woman busting it open since I was 11 years old. I've never been 8 months. That's the honest to God truth. My mom will tell you that. I'm on a kill streak. Since the day I decided to get some peach fuzz on my face, I've been on a kill streak. No, no, no. Listen, God bless you. I think that you should start a whole YouTube channel based off of that. Um, and I want to know what that piece looks like, or I want to know what it looks like from your perspective. I personally don't want to experience it myself, so I can't do it, bro. I can't do it. I can't do it, bro. You been 8 months boxless. So what you been doing with it? How you been managing? How you get that energy out? 8 months, yup. I've been grinding, trying to run up a bag, the longest drive spell of my life. That's impressive. Let me give you a round of applause for that one. Let me give you a round of applause. That is one of the most impressive things that I've ever heard of in my entire life. So let me give you a round of applause. Hopefully, my internet provider can get their act together at some point in my lifetime. But in the meantime, let me go ahead and make sure that I acknowledge the people that support the platform. Shout out to Rand Wilson. I appreciate you. Shout out to Crystal. Says drink. That was from Friday. I want to make sure I acknowledge that one. Crystal, you a snow bunny. I like my snow bunnies. Oh no, you're not a snow bunny. Okay, you just lighter skin. I had to make sure I zoomed in a little bit. Mike, that dude, I appreciate you for holding me down, my guy. I appreciate you. Big ups to you. I also want to give an acknowledgement to the early super chatters. Eric Wealth Harris says, at the gym watching stock market, watching the Millionaire More show at the same time. What up, AD Annotations? What up, Eric? What up, big dog? Row Ventures says, AD, I stayed in Detroit for the 4th. There's a lot of construction. Shout out to the Peach Cobbler Factory. Oh, so you familiar with the Peach Cobbler Factory? There is so much to see. Ferndale was cool too. People are nice. Detroit is, man, listen. Detroit is the best kept secret. And I told people it is a vibe here. I love coming home. I love getting on a plane from Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City is dope too. You helped me out once, and for that, I will always support you in your work. God willing, you will become the president one day. You're doing the Lord's work. Shout out to the one true Whitney. I appreciate you. See, wait. True Whitney. What they'll tell you is that I hate women, though. They'll tell you that I hate women. Molly Mal Gaming said, what up, though? What up, though, Molly Mal Gaming? What up, though? Yeah. Yeah. What's going on? How y'all feel? That was one of the worst weekends of my life. What was one of the worst weekends of your life, Rod? We'll talk about it. All right, so let me give y'all a little bit of insight. Tonight is the Q show, so that should be popping. Also, on top of that, I have a personal rule within myself. This is not necessarily applicable to anybody else in the chat. My personal rule is I don't really pay attention to people with no profile picture. You know what I'm saying? Unless I'm reading a super chat or something like that. I always like to acknowledge the people that support the platform. But I got this thing in my mind where I believe that if you don't have a profile picture, but you type in real tough in the chat, that you jerk off in your socks. I don't know where I got it from. I don't know why that's the thing, but it's certainly something that's always in my mind. All right. So if you got a profile picture, I'd love to interact with you inside of the chat. And what else? What are we missing? I don't censor anybody. So as long as you're not being crazy disrespectful, you won't get timed out. Don't talk about anybody's kids. Don't talk about anybody's chicks. Don't talk about anybody's parents. None of that stuff. And we're going to have a good time. All right, y'all. We got a full show for y'all today, so we're gonna be here at least for the next 2.5 hours. We got to go over to Texas for the flooding. We have to address Chicago. Chicago, come on back to the front of the congregation. We got to go over to Indianapolis. I thought Indianapolis was a safe conference city, and what I'm realizing is that YNs are everywhere. Indianapolis, all right? Going over to Mexico City. They don't want y'all in Saturday City. I got a good segment for that. It's set up beautifully. We're also going to go over to Trump. Trump addressed what was going on with Texas, the flooding, and he addressed Elon Musk's new party. We're going to go over to Ben McLemore, sentenced to 8 years, former NBA player. Now he's got to be in prison for messing with a snow bunny. People are getting laid off. I had a conversation with y'all about Microsoft laying off 9,000 people, the difference between men and women getting laid off. We got to talk about that. Oh, and Elon Musk. He was liking all of my posts on X this weekend. I couldn't believe it. I had to double check to make sure that it was the real Elon Musk. Elon Musk was liking my posts on X. I said, I must got motion. I must got motion. I will tell you that I am growing at a clip of about 90-something thousand subscribers a month on the Anton Daniels channel alone. It's insane. I don't know what the hell is happening right now. It's like everybody loves me or everybody wants to have a conversation about me. Yeah, it's true. It's crazy, bro. It is absolutely crazy. I can't believe it. It's like it won't stop ever. It won't stop. I don't know what to do. How do I stop it? How do I stop it? Now I'm getting reached out to by bigger networks. I got a lot of sponsorships that I be turning down, and I say no. I'll talk to you in 3 months if I decide to. If I just so happen to cross a million, I don't know how to stop it. My haters are pissed. Haters is pissed. It's crazy. It's a real thing. Like the motion is motioning, and now everybody want to jump on the team. Oh my God, Anton, I always loved you. Sponsors, hey, we not worried about the way that you talk, but we just want to sit down and have a conversation with you. Networks is calling, hey, are you interested in coming in? We want to fly you to New York. Everybody is reaching out all of a sudden. I wonder what that is. I did. I said that this was going to happen. Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? I said that it was going to happen. On the Anton Daniels channel alone, we running up about, on average, over 30 days, close to 50 million views a month. Over 2 million hours of watch time. The watch time is the thing that's the most important. Close to 100,000 subscribers every 30 days, because you're only looking at, and is behind 2 days, so it's really every 26 days what you're looking at. It's crazy. But I'm not paying too much attention to it. We're not going to make too much of it. And we just going to keep working. We not caught up in the motion. We not caught up in the hype. We going to act like we've been here before. And we just going to keep working. That's what we going to do. We going to keep working. We not on it. We not focusing on it. And I have noticed, and I'm about to jump into the show now. I have noticed that I am getting a lot more people that are mad, like people, and it ain't even just normal people, right? Because regular people that are just discovering me, of course, they're gonna have whatever commentary that they have, but like people that you've left behind, or people that don't ask me how I know. I'm not saying no names no more. I'm done with that. I'm moving forward. But like people that beef with me and said that, oh man, you ain't gonna never be nothing. Or people like, I'm talking about like online content creators and people that should have been on the team, or people that was a part of this, or they criticized me or whatever. Like they've been reinvigorated to be like, oh man, I can't believe he's actually blowing up even more. And he's like practically becoming number one. And so now we really mad. Like it's crazy the amount of people that are pissed that you kind of leaving them behind, or you may have been in the same space as them at one point, and it was like fake friends, like, oh man, yeah, I like him. Shout out to him. He all right. But now it's turned into, man, I think he gay, man. I don't like him and all of that. See? Look at collard greens. Collard greens says you are an immigrant. Stop it. It's typical. It's typical. They thought, look, I'm going to acknowledge them one time because they put their ugly baby picture up. Shout out to everybody that was ugly babies and never grew out of it. Let me give you a round of applause. Shout out to the ugly babies. And I don't know if that's if you're the one that's in the picture, or if it's your mother, or if, it's your kid. But that is one hood rat crack baby that I'm looking at right there in that profile picture. Shout out to the babies that was born shaken and was going through it. That's what it looked like you are. Shout out to the ugly babies that never had a chance. The only thing that they ever could do was become a radio host. You are an ugly baby. That's why they call you collard greens. You are ugly baby. And it was resonating in your spirit. And so that's why you the way that you are. That's why everything that you say and everything that you do is going to fail, because they was feeding you collard greens. Your mama was on crack and your daddy didn't like you. Shout out to the babies that look like a piece of shit. That's what you are. You are ugly baby. You grew up to be an ugly adult. And that's why you're still using that stupid baby picture, because we all usually think that babies are nice. Oh, they so cute. But no, you was the exception. You were the exception. Y'all better leave me alone, man. Y'all better leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. You said born shaky? Yeah, because they was going through withdrawal. Going with y'all ain't never heard of a crack baby before? It's a real thing. Oh, y'all not from that era. I was born in the 80s, raised in the 90s. Crack babies was a normal thing. Why I always got to be the bigger person? Because you hate yourself. Why? Why I always got to be the bigger person? I don't want to be the bigger person no more. I just want to tell it like it is. I'm trying to limit, because I have an infinite amount of jokes that just, when I see something, it's like 37 jokes download inside of my head. And we go from there. All right. Let me read the super chats and then we gonna get started with the show. All right. Let's reset. Monday after the holiday. Good morning, Chasers. I got married over the weekend. Shout out to you, Johnny Tsunami. I like that. Congratulations. I hope you have a happy, healthy marriage. Gulf Coast Bama says, Tondog, can you explain the difference between your investment style and Dave Ramsey? My little bro, swear you got your game from Ramsey. Well, let's look at it like this. Investment information is pretty much standard universally. The difference between, I would say the difference between a Dave Ramsey and some people is Dave Ramsey's investment style is based off of biblical, right? Dave Ramsey don't believe in owing any man anything. He believes in paying cash for everything. He has a certain formula, and then he also creates the majority of his information for people that's just now getting there. Basically people that are in debt, that's trying to get themselves out of debt, that's trying to get the baby steps. So $1,000 emergency fund, paying off debt, rice and beans, sell everything and all of that. My perspective is a little bit different. So for example, one of the things that I advocate against is to get a $1,000 emergency fund. I believe that if you dollar cost average, which Dave Ramsey doesn't talk about, used as leveraged, and you can always tap into it if you get into an emergency. So it's no point in having a $1,000 emergency fund. But Dave Ramsey's $1,000 emergency fund is largely based off of the idea that most people don't have $1,000 if an emergency happens, right? And so if you get a quick win, then that will eventually put you in a position to where you'll start to continue to build on those wins. And then ultimately you can climb out of debt, and then you'll be able to do the baby step thing. I largely believe that Dave Ramsey is very great for people that are just getting started or horribly in debt. I believe, for example, though, additional to that, that you have to leverage assets in order to buy more assets. But then in addition to that, we do agree that debt is the enemy of wealth, right? So I'm not going to go into a whole spiel. If you're not a part of the Patreon and you haven't been a part of Stock Club, or you don't go into cryptocurrency, or you don't understand real estate, then you're not going to understand it. I believe in compounding everything, right? I believe in writing everything off from a business perspective. And so I think that there's always going to be overlap between people that understand finances, because the universal principle of money is always going to be true. I like Dave Ramsey. I think that he's awesome. I don't think it's necessary for people to try to separate themselves from other people that do things that's great. I think that the thing that we have to do is make sure that we separate ourselves from people that do things that are bad. So if, for example, your friend that is not obviously not a part of the Patreon thinks and says, well, Anton, you got a lot of what it is that you got from Dave Ramsey, I would consider that a compliment, because I think that Dave Ramsey is awesome. Obviously, he's a 100+ millionaire. He's been able to sell a lot of books, and he does really well as far as helping people get out of debt. But I think that there's levels. I think that once you graduate past the baby steps, there's another level that you have to get to in order to leverage and build businesses. Dave Ramsey don't teach how to build businesses. Dave Ramsey don't invest in other people's businesses. Dave Ramsey doesn't teach you how to budget like a business, but instead he gives you the very fundamental principles that will allow for you to live a decent life, right? So I think that Dave Ramsey is awesome. I love it. And if anybody was to ever compare me to Dave Ramsey, he's a legend in the game. I consider that a compliment. So shout out to your friend. At least they don't compare you to, what's my man name? Jonathan Dupin, the guy that's in prison for scamming. if you compare me to Dave Ramsey, that is a absolute positive blessing. I know you're not doing coaching calls, but can I email you about my gunsmithing business? Yeah, Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com. Chris Mayberry. Moses King says, "What up, AD? I'm feeling that new slogan. Get off your back, get off your back, and get on your feet. AD 2028. Yo, shout out to my dog Moses King." Scooter says, "Hey Anton, I know I don't have a profile pic, and I don't want to bring down the mood, but I lost my father yesterday morning expecting lie, and we never got to reconcile. How do you go about this? You got to figure out how to forgive yourself." I tell people this all the time. The Bible says, honor your parents. You don't have to agree with them. You don't even have to necessarily be moving in the same direction as them. But you have to spend time focusing on the things that matter instead of the things that you don't care about. Forgive yourself. The first thing you got to do is forgive yourself. And the second thing you got to do is start to have a better relationship with the people that are still here. Your parents probably is in a better place. So your father is probably in a better place. So you the one that's still left here suffering. You honor your parents' legacy by being the best version of yourself and being the best person that you can. It's the only thing that you can do. Condolences for you, my friend. I hope that your family is better off. God bless you. Keep the unbeaten Keith Murphy says McLemore doesn't get sentenced till Wednesday, but he's facing 8 years. Bishop Frank says, "Big salute, barbershop fam. Run up the likes, gumbo." Shout out to Bishop Frank. I appreciate you. Tiger says, "I found your channel a few weeks ago and I'm loving your perspective on things. Thanks for keeping it real." Shout out to Tiger. It's only a few of us real ones left, my dog. 392Q says, "What we doing for 1 million subs? Party in Tokyo?" What do y'all think I should do for 1 million subs? What do y'all think? I'm going to let y'all figure it out. Matter of fact, I'm going to post something in the Patreon because we got a live stream tomorrow on Stock Club, all right? Nichelle says, "Unc, you deserve all of this favor. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you too for being and rocking out with the winning team." Nichelle. But Wyatt says, "If that black couch starts talking, we'll be having a different conversation." Gotta change the profile picture. Be right back. Y'all crazy. Let's hold hands and pray this petty demon out of Anton. Pray the petty demon out of the people that come for me, and I won't have to do it. Tech Noob in the building says 13, 15, 16, and 17-year-olds were charged in Indianapolis downtown shooting. You covered. Total 25 people shot in Indianapolis over 48 hours. I'm going to cover that. I'm going to Indianapolis. I promise you I am. P. Shank says, good morning, Anton Daniels in the Millionaire Morning Show. What up, P? David Johnson, the a-hole, says, Anton, I thought you just said no, talking about people's kids and parents. Oh, no, I was talking about them. That was in that profile picture. I was talking about them. The person that said the negative thing to me that is not true, I had to address them as being an ugly baby because that is what I observed. That is an ugly baby. And I'm assuming that's them. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into the show. Again, let me see if my connection is back. They asking me if I want to upgrade. Shut that up. AP says, Anton, why you not talking about Epstein? What would you like for me to talk about it? What do you want me to say about Epstein? What do y'all want me to say? Like, I don't know. I can only cover 7, 8 different subjects in one day. What would you like for me to say? I don't do theory. Unless they release something that actually says this is exactly what it is. I try to stay in the spaces where I can give my opinion on facts. All right, let's get started with the show. Again, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Is my TV moving? I could tell if my internet is back right. If my TV is moving. Let me double check this. Well, let's get into the show. Let's start off with Texas, y'all, because it's a tragedy that's happening in Texas. They say the flood has killed more than 80 people confirmed, but they're still looking for survivors. And this is one of the reasons why I say it's important for us to be 100% thankful for the circumstance that we in. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock, y'all.
Heartbreak and hope in Texas this morning after catastrophic floods. At least 82 people have died, mostly in Kerr County. This is outside San Antonio. Dozens, though, are still missing, and that number includes children from Camp Mystic, one of multiple camps along the Guadalupe River. Many now question if there was enough advance warning of this. CBS News correspondent Jason Allen has been in Kerrville, Texas since Friday. Jason, I think we spoke as soon as you arrived on the scene. Help us understand how bad things were and how things look today.
Well, it's been stunning for people, Errol, to see the extent of destruction. And this is in an area of the country, a part of Texas, where they know it as Flash Flood Alley. There have been many flash floods here in the past, and even the extent of this one surprises them. It's a combination of extreme rainfall you can get with moisture moving up from the Gulf and very thin layer of topsoil. Officials here say that they rescued more than 850 people over the last 3 days, some of them from the tops of trees and others from rooftops.
That's crazy.
Hundreds of first responders spread out across the Guadalupe River. They climbed over debris piles, searched mangled cars, and combed riverbanks that floodwaters scoured. Torrential rain caused one river to surge nearly 26 feet in just 45 minutes early Friday morning.
We're at Camp Mystic looking for our kids.
Children's summer camps dot the shoreline of the Guadalupe. At Camp Mystic, an all-girls summer camp, the river started running through cabins where children were sleeping. Nearly a dozen 3rd and 4th grade girls are still missing.
We're looking for places that they're gonna potentially be alive.
Further down the river, the flooding ripped through homes and campgrounds where families were staying for the holiday weekend.
We're still hoping for the best. That's all we can do in that and pray.
Brian Blackbird came to the house his family owned, looking for signs of his sister and brother-in-law, Beth and Hutch Bryan. They had friends staying with them. Only one escaped.
He said he and Martha made their way, fighting the current around the house, and that's when she got swept away.
Amid the heartbreak, incredible stories of survival.
All of a sudden we just hear somebody say, "Help, help."
Sisters Natalie and Emily Rayford said they spent 20 minutes trying to pinpoint those screams. Then they said an 8-year-old girl who had floated 6 miles from Camp Mystic appeared from a pile of debris.
Did you ask her what had happened, how she was able to make it?
Yeah, we asked her what happened and she said that her cabin was flooding and someone opened a window and she just flew out of it.
The sudden rush of water reached this RV park, packed with campers.
Everybody on the level where the water is in right now, they were barely getting out with their pajamas on and their dogs. And their
Lorena Guillen said in the rush to wake people up, they could only watch helplessly as one family was swept away.
Just
That's crazy to think about, yo. Yo, we sit here and we whine and we complain about the dumbest stuff. And don't get me wrong, I like to talk about things that are entertaining. But yo, to know that somebody just got swept away like that somebody was at summer camp and then they just get swept away and then some flash flooding come in. And some people are saying that this is right outside of San Antonio. I had planned on visiting San Antonio, I believe in September or something like that. And so I don't know exactly where this is or you know, how you make sense of it or anything like that. But this is heartbreaking. It is. This is heartbreaking. And I think that this is a reminder also that we have to take life seriously and we can't just take everything for granted. We assume that when we go outside every day that everything is going to be okay. We assume that when we leave out the house every day that you're not going to get into an accident. We assume that you know, you're going to wake up and your kids going to go to camp and then they're going to make it home the next day. We assume that, you know, the weather and the crews and everything is going to go according to whatever is planned. But in 45 minutes, everything can change. Your life can change. I just got a super chat where a guy was saying that his father had passed away and he wasn't able to reconcile. And so we have to be nicer to each other. We have to be cool. We have to be calm. We got to be collected and we got to make sure. You said this is an hour north of San Antonio. Okay. I got you. Somebody said, do they make an announcement on the news before this happens? I heard that it was a lot of alerts. People were saying that there were tons of alerts that was going out to people's phones prior to it happening, but it was called it's a flash flood. So it just happens instantly. And so there's nothing that you can do about it. I think that we truly underestimate. They like to call it Mother Nature. We truly underestimate Mother Nature, man. We underestimate Mother Nature. We take life for granted. We do. We really take life for granted. We don't really have respect for life. And part of it isn't our fault. A lot of it is because we've been civilized for so long and we have modern technology that allows for us to live a phenomenal life that I don't think that we really value it as much as we should, which is one of the reasons why we don't really take things serious. We do, man. We do. Let me also say this too. Everywhere you live, no matter where you live in the United States of America, there is no perfect place. Let me say that again for the people in the back. There is no perfect place. If you over in Miami, you got to deal with hurricane season. If you in Texas, there's a possibility you're going to have flash flooding depending on where you are. If you in, and of course I know that there's different parts of Texas and all of that, but I'm speaking in general. If you over in Los Angeles, you might have to deal with forest fires and mudslides and you know what I'm saying, earthquakes that'll split the whole Los Angeles apart, right? If you are over in Oklahoma City, then you're going to have to deal with Tornado Alley. If you over on the East Coast and you in New York, you got to deal with crazy snow. If you in Michigan, you might have to deal with snow. And the Midwest is a little bit better, except for people don't like the cold weather, right? They don't like all four seasons. So no matter where you go, you're going to be picking and choosing to deal with something, and you got to pick your battle. You got to pick your poison. Nowhere is going to be perfect, and if it was, then all of the rich people would take it over.
It's great. I mean, it was very, very difficult.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott said no one anticipated the severity of the storm.
The moment in time when they knew the magnitude of the water, it's a difficult decision whether or not to begin evacuating people.
Look at that. That looked crazy.
And despite deadly floods here in the past, there is no outdoor warning system here, no sirens that you will find in other parts of the state. Instead, they rely on forecasts and rely on predictions from the National Weather Service. Now, local officials have talked for several years about adding one of those systems, specifically back in 2017. They balked at the time because of the cost. Greg Abbott did mention yesterday that the state is going to look now at fixing that. And Errol,
Somebody said Arizona is probably the best. No. No. Arizona, man, them temperatures. Go outside during the heat of the summer. Arizona temperatures is crazy. Arizona temperatures, they don't even have grass in some places in Arizona. And Arizona is kind of boring. Like, in a lot of places in Arizona, it's like a retirement community. And they have water problems.
Trump is expected to visit the area on Friday.
Yeah, wow, such an eye-opener for so many people. Jason, you got so many incredible
See what I'm saying?
stories
Phoenix
from
is
people
110 a day.
over the
I'm
weekend.
straight.
What are you seeing today?
You know what really stands out to me, and especially from this position here, Errol, is how you look around and away from the river. We're about 100 yards or so. It doesn't look like anything happened. The leaves are still on the trees. Very different from when we would be in a hurricane zone or after a tornado or a fire. And yet when you get up close to the river in the impacted areas, it's unrecognizable. In some cases, I've had to ask people,
look at that. That's crazy.
Was here? Because
remember when, and there's nothing you can even do about it because that's just the way that the earth is. Remember when, I think it was last year, and they was trying to warn everybody over in Tampa to get out of Tampa because of what had happened, I believe, in North Carolina and all of that stuff. And nobody was moving. And there was a lot of people that decided that they wasn't going anywhere. And nothing happened. It wasn't as bad. They even had Lieutenant Dan. He went viral because he ain't had no leg. And he was living on a boat. And then all of a sudden, everybody stole his GoFundMe money and all of that stuff. People don't really take a lot of warnings seriously, bro. That looks insane. That looks crazy, bro. She pregnant.
Next day, we know this family, the couple, were missing in their 70s, and
somebody said 100 at night got to be capped. Nah, Deion Sardines, you wrong. Listen. If it happened in Las Vegas, I know it could happen over in Arizona. I was out at Vegas one year, and that junk was like 100. I think it was during the pandemic or something like that. It was like 117 degrees in the daytime and almost 100 degrees at different parts of the nighttime before it got late into the night. So I know it's possible over in Arizona, 100%.
Waited for the road to clear on the 5th. We came and we searched about 10 miles. We found two bodies, a little girl and a little boy. And then we finally came up here and we found
finding bodies
that we were looking for. And today we came back because we haven't found the wife. And we believe she's still here in the area. And so we had a great group of people show up, about 40 to 50 volunteers, just looking through rummage and digging up as much as we can.
I don't want to live nowhere where it's 102 overnight.
We knew that they weren't really searching this way past Mystic, because I know we need to help those girls, but we were able to find him. So we were hopeful we would be able to find her. It turns out it's very difficult. It seems like it's getting more and more tedious to find.
That's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Prayers up for everybody over there
and we are getting breaking news out of Central Texas in Kerr County. Camp Mystic just released a statement about its campers and counselors. Let's get right to CNN anchor Pam Brown, who is nearby for the latest. Pam, what are you hearing?
This is the first time Camp Mystic is releasing a statement with a number of deaths. And in this statement, John, Camp Mystic says it is grieving the loss of 27 campers and counselors following the catastrophic flooding on the Guadalupe River. The statement goes on to say, our hearts are broken alongside our families that are enduring this unimaginable tragedy. We are praying for them constantly. We have been in communication with local and state authorities who are tirelessly deploying extensive resources to search for our missing girls. We are deeply grateful for the outpouring of support from community, first responders, and officials at every level. We ask for your continued prayers, respect, and privacy for each of our families affected. May the Lord continue to wrap his presence around all of us. 27 young souls, these young campers, John, and young counselors. Remember, these counselors were teenagers for the most part. Many of them jumped into action. They were heroes. But as we are getting from this statement, some died as well. Camp Mystic did not say how many of those 27 were campers versus counselors, but presumably the bulk of them are campers. And I just can't stop thinking, John, that it was just a little over a week ago that parents dropped their young children off to have the best 4 weeks of their life at Camp Mystic, a camp I attended 30 years ago. And now some of those same parents are going to the local funeral home to potentially identify their child. It's just beyond comprehension, the heartbreak here. You feel it all around. John?
It just has to be overwhelming to be there, Pam. And again, this statement from Camp Mystic is really the first time we have heard them address fatalities. They're grieving the loss of 27 campers and counselors, I think confirming many of the worst fears that so many have been having there. Thank you for being there. Keep us posted. Obviously, this is developing.
That's heartbreaking, bro. That's devastating. That is absolutely devastating in every single way. And it's not even nobody's fault. The worst part about it is that you don't have nobody to blame. That's when you start having conversations with God, like, God, why did this happen to me and stuff like that. That is heartbreaking. That is heartbreaking. Because, usually, like, if it's like a responsible party or something like that, or a school shooter or something, you can usually have somebody to point to and blame and hold somebody accountable for it. But you can't even hold nobody accountable. It's just like, yo, life happens. It just is what it is. That's why you got to be very, very careful of how you treat people, because you could be up today and it could be gone tomorrow. And that's why you don't let the sun go down on your wrath, and you got to be forgiving because you don't want to live with regret. Man, that is heartbreaking. I think the most heartbreaking part about it for me personally is not just that, the camp and all of that, but it's to think about the fact that it's young people, which means that they probably suffered the whole time. They probably was suffering as whatever was happening was happening. That is heartbreaking, bro. That really is heartbreaking. Prayers up for the families. I've seen people on the news and people on social media trying to politicize this and somehow make this some kind of political issue. Everything is not a political issue. Sometimes it's just life. It's not segregated or divided based off a party. It has nothing to do with your political affiliation. There are Democrats and Republicans, liberals and conservatives alike that live in all areas. Sometimes it's just tragedy. And it's a time for you to come together and hopefully send prayers up collectively for the family and stop dividing ourselves and start having a level of empathy and sympathy. This is one of those situations where you got to have empathy and sympathy for other people. I just couldn't imagine, bro. I just couldn't imagine. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read a few of the super chats, and then we're going to move over to Chicago. Come on to the front of the congregation, bro. What's happening, everyone? And hit the like, go Trump. Shout out to LA Rams. We appreciate you for holding us down, my friend. Thank you for the super chat. Elevate to the Unknown says, Anton's game changed my life, even from a distance. If you follow his blueprint, you'll win. It's not for everyone, though. My early morning show starts in mid-August, big dog. 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. Congratulations. I like that. You know what's so funny? Elevate to the Unknown, because I remember it used to be something different too, but I'm going to call you Elevate to the Unknown. You know what's so funny? When I was in the game, or when I first created the Millionaire Morning Show, because this used to be after hours, and then because this used to be a late night show, I changed this to the morning show, and then I created another after hours later to be another late night show, right? Because I believe that I would have a lot of people don't know this, but the reason that I switched over to the Millionaire Morning Show is because I believe that I could have a much better impact on people if I got their day started off laughing, getting them through work and all of that, right? So when I started the Millionaire Morning Show, I remember there were zero, and when I say zero content creators that were focused on the morning time. Melvin Cooper, I want to address you so bad. I really want to highlight you, but I believe that you are one of the people that jerk off in their socks because you don't have a profile picture. So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I would love to address it, but I can't. But I was just nobody was having a conversation about the daytime. And I was like, yo, why am I not streaming in the daytime when I work a job? Because this was before I had retired, I believe. Why would I not stream in the daytime when I have so much extra time and I be working? I could still be cooking with the people. Here's my question. I'm not going to highlight you, Melvin, but let me say this. No, I can't. I can't bring myself to address people with no profile picture. You got to get a profile picture, bro. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with 10 notifications. 392Q says, crazy how these Dems and libs will still blame Trump. It's a difference between, let me say something about Melvin. Because he was saying it's funny how I never address white people and versus black people dying or whatever, young people, whatever. I think that it's a much bigger difference between dying in a flash flood while you're at camp and doing productive things as a human being than being out in the streets and shooting each other with guns and pistols. I mean, do I need to elaborate on that, or is that self-explanatory? Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it in this next conversation. Crazy how these shout out to you, 392Q. I appreciate you. Mr. Chill 211 King says, AD, why are the liberals I know blaming Trump for the flash flood warning? Because they need to blame anybody. When people want to, everything is going to be somebody's fault depending on what side of the aisle you on. Corey Williams is currently waiting on the support from Israel, and I don't know what that other flag is. Is that Palestine? What did I miss? Drake snapped. What did I miss? Shout out to James Watts. I appreciate you. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. All right, yeah, let's talk about it. Let's bring Chicago to the front of the congregation. Over in Chicago, since he wants me to address the people that die, whether you are young or you're old, over in Chicago, and Chicago is really just the beginning of it, right? Because Chicago, because they have a greater population of YNs, and it's not just YNs in the black community, it's also in Hispanic communities and Latino communities and different communities inside of Chicago. But Chicago is almost like the poster child for what happens in an urban community that then votes liberal, and at the same time, they want you to defund the police, and they want you to support illegal migrants inside of the community while operating at a budget deficit and always choosing a black leader because they need somebody that looks like them instead of a person that does the best job. But Chicago was not alone, because if you went over to St. Louis, I covered it over on Anton Daniels' channel. If you go over to different parts of the Bronx in New York, if you went over to Philly, if you went over to Albany, if you went over to any of these places and you looked and you observed of what happened over the holiday weekend of how many bodies dropped. And let me tell you how we know that bodies are going to drop in the community. Let me tell you how much we know that life is not valued in the community. Again, it's not about a tornado or flash flooding or an earthquake. These are self-inflicted wounds. These are people that say, listen, you sitting in the car, I don't like you. Hey, let me call the homies. We strapped up. Let me go and let eight shots, 10 shots, 12 shots, 20 shots off at people. I can't support something when people decide to kill themselves. It's very difficult for me to support something when people decide to kill themselves.
Unfortunately, more violence in the city. So far, at least 40 people have been shot and 6 killed across Chicago this 4th of July weekend. Some neighborhood residents walked the track at Avalon Park, unaware just hours earlier gun violence claimed the life of a teenage girl while wounding a man there.
I'm always shocked.
So, would you like for me to address gun violence, wounding, killing a teenage girl, and shots ringing? Because I know that you asked me to address it, Melvin, so I'm going to address it. What is it that I should be having having flowers, a celebration about gun markers over in Chicago and a teenage girl that shot in a park? We're not even talking about guys or gang members. A teenage girl, a child shot in the park in Chicago. Over, and they're still tallying the bodies because we only got it. This is a day old, so we didn't even get the full tally. Over 44 people were shot. 6 of them were killed. So 38 survived, but they just got wounds. But the intention was to kill them too. What is it that you would like for me to say positive about the community right now?
That the things that's happening in this area, but again, I'm getting used to it at the same time. So.
He's used to it. You see that? He's used to it. We're numb to it. We're used to it. We're numb to it. This is normal. Not a big deal. We're going to blame the white man. We're going to blame the system. We're going to blame gentrification. We're going to blame illegal migrants. We're going to blame everybody for the fact that y'all be protesting the smallest thing and your own kids is killing each other inside of the streets.
But it is heartbreaking.
Just before 11 p.m. Friday night, investigators say gunfire erupted in the park located in the 1200 block of East 83rd Street on the city's south side. Police say 16-year-old Mia Smith died of a bullet wound to the throat, while a 35-year-old man was hit in the leg after an attacker approached them on foot and opened fire.
Look
in
at all
the
of the
hours
markers.
to follow, there would be 2 new mass shootings. The first within the city's back of the yards neighborhood, leaving 7 people wounded. It happened near 48th and Justine just after 11 o'clock. That's when witnesses say 2 gunmen walked up to a crowd and started shooting. The 4 women injured range in age from 21 to 27 years old and were seriously or critically hurt, along with a 21-year-old and a 29-year-old man. A 42-year-old man also remains hospitalized. Another attack on the group happened near the Cook County Criminal Courts building. Investigators say 4 men were sitting in a car near 27th in California when another vehicle pulled up and someone inside started shooting. The men, who range in age from 25 to 33 years old, each suffered multiple gunshot wounds. Street pastor and anti-violence activist Dr. Donovan Price says he's concerned about what feels like an uptick in gun violence.
Sometimes it's about plain evil, and as long as people have guns, they're going to use them whenever they get angry. It's a tool of convenience, of angry convenience.
ABC 7 is tracking.
Now, you're right, Victory Podcast. It wasn't like one mass shooting. It was the police doing zigzags all across the entire city. Hey, man, somebody killed over there. Somebody shot over here. Somebody shot over there. Somebody shot. See, what the black community learned is that the way that they prevent it from being labeled a mass shooting is that you just commit the crimes in different places. If you do it all in one place, then it'll be considered a mass shooting. But if you do 20 shootings in 20 different places, with 44 victims and 6 people die, it's not really a big deal. It's not going to be covered by Fox News. It's not going to be covered by CNN. The only way that you get these type of stories is if you go local. So I have to go and see, hey man, what's happening in St. Louis? What's happening in Chicago? What's happening in Milwaukee? What's happening in Little Haiti? What's going on in the Bronx? What's happening in Cleveland? What's going on in Detroit? What's going on in Atlanta? Right? That's the only way that you get these stories is you got to go to the local. National don't address these issues. It's not really that big of a deal.
Tracking holiday weekend shootings from the morning of Thursday, July 3rd at midnight to the evening of Sunday, July 6th at 11:59 p.m. At least 44 people have been shot, resulting in 6 homicides, a concern to some Chicagoans fearful about their safety.
I have 2 sons, and I'm very concerned about them. I have 2 brothers, one that was murdered and one that was shot.
See, that is normal. She got 2 sons. She didn't say that they had a father in their life. She had 2 relatives. Listen.
And I'm very concerned about them. I have 2 brothers, one that was murdered and one that was shot.
This is normal. This is normal. I have 2 brothers, one that was murdered and one that was shot. Not a husband, not a father in their life. 2 sons out here in the streets, concerned that they may even get into it because mama ain't at home and they got to raise themselves and they in the streets. One brother shot, one brother killed. It's just no, this is normal, not a big deal. It's normal. This is normal. This is our culture. Bless up. And then we got the nerve to say somebody ain't invited to the barbecue. What? What? It's certain parts of my city of Detroit that is thriving. It is booming. But then there's times where if you don't take the freeway, for example, you have to go through certain areas and certain hoods. That's less than ideal. I'll give you an example. Let's say, for those of you that are in Detroit, in the Metro Detroit area, let's say, for example, that you decide you want to take that Woodward cruise down all the way to downtown, right? And downtown, don't get me wrong, is phenomenal. Sherwood Forest is phenomenal. Chandler Park is, well, maybe not. Chandler Park is it's iffy. Sherwood Forest, Boston Edison District, a lot of different places, right? Indian Village, all of these places. But let's say you want to take a cruise. You don't want to take the freeway. You want to take a cruise. I'm jumping in my 96 Impala. I want to take the cruise. I'm going straight down. I got to get through Highland Park. I got to get through Highland Park. Once you pass 6 Mile, right? And you going down Woodward, you pass 6 Mile, you're gonna see a strip club on the right-hand side. That's how you know you hit Highland Park. You're gonna see I don't know what they call it now. It's Deja Vu. If you go down that street a little bit further, it's gonna be Minjo's. It used to be a Minjo's down there. Minjo's was the gay club, like it was the male gay club down the street, right? You're gonna pass Minjo's, but if you keep going, right, you're gonna see all of the things. You're gonna see a Popeye's chicken, you're gonna see the hair salon, the cheap shoes, then you're gonna see a what do you call it? What's the name of that store? Like with the cheap clothing and stuff. I forgot what the name of it is. And then you're going to see a gas station, a Pizza Hut, the hood place. You're going to see the weed place. And you're going to see a burned down building over here. And if you go farther enough, you get through. You go through about 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles down the road. You back in the safe zone, baby. City Trends. Yep, you're going to see a City Trends. You back in the safe zone, baby. Radmatic says, what's wrong with Highland Park? Everything. 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 People don't know, Detroit has 2 cities that's inside of the city. So let's say you got this one big circle, and then you take another city and you put it there, and you take another city and you put it there. Now, Hamtramck, you don't have these problems, even though they don't necessarily make a whole lot of money either. But in Highland Park, that's the hood, that's the black community. Nope.
So it's affected me personally.
So it's unfortunate. Brandon Johnson would have you guys to believe that crime is down in the city. I know for a fact that the way that they report crime is different, so they will make it seem like crime is down, but this ain't nothing but The Wire. What's up, Jess Montina? This is nothing but The Wire. So the way that the black community knows, and let me bring y'all up to speed, the way that the black community knows that it is going to be hell and high water to pay, and this is the honest to God truth. Do you know how we know when the bodies are about to drop? Nope, the gangs ain't giving you a warning. Nope, it ain't got nothing to do with some kind of signal. The police ain't pulling up and all of that stuff. The way that we know that the bodies are about to drop in the black community is that it gets warm outside. That first warm day in the spring, it's over. It's over. Count your days. Don't be outside too long. Don't get into too many confrontations. When the summer hit, holidays, 4th of July, that's our anniversary. Anniversary. It's our anniversary. That's how we know the bodies is finna drop. Anytime that the temperature rises above 65 degrees, it's over. It's over. That's it, bro. That's it. Call the coroner. We're going to have a busy day. Call the coroner. We about to have a busy day in the city. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. And tell you know, they don't want me to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. They don't want me to say it. I'm going to say it anyway. What's the best food in Detroit? Coney dogs, pizza. I think you should go to a high-end restaurant. We need to stop saying what the best food is and that it's some kind of hood restaurant. For me, I would say that one of the best restaurants for you to go to is Prime and Proper. Prime and Proper has incredible service, incredible food. It is a gem. It is a great place. Go to Prime and Proper. Forget all of that hood junk, bro. Go to Prime and Proper. Dress up, put something nice on. They got valet outside. It's a great environment. Prime and Proper is a place that you want to take your girl. All right? That's the best place that you want to take your girl. Don't go to none of that Coney Island nonsense. Don't go to the hood Coney Islands. Don't go to the Coney Islands downtown. None of that shit, bro. Go to something that got a rooftop. Go to something that got valet in it. And you know, that's the place that you want to go. Forget all of that hood nonsense. They call me Mr. Bibb, says I stay in the middle of the red zone. Crime is not down. Yeah. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Sam Morello is incredible. Sam Morello the business is inside of the Shinola Hotel. The Shinola Hotel is where Kendrick Lamar stays. It's where a lot of the basketball players stay. It's where Isaiah Thomas. Any celebrity that usually comes here, they usually either stay at Sam Morello, the Book Cadillac, or they stay at MGM Grand. So Cliff Bell's is also. Cliff Bell's is great if you want to go and listen to music. And you want to dress up, you want dancing. Cliff Bell's kind of reminds me of like the 50s. Because the women be dressed up. And the men be dressed up. And then they always have a phenomenal, world-renowned live band. I love Cliff Bell's. Cliff Bell's is awesome. That is awesome. Y'all naming some good spots. Cliff Bell's is awesome too. All right. Let me see what else we got on the docket today. Oh, let's go over to Indianapolis. Y'all said it sounds like he wants food where he got to wear Crocs. Has my internet been restored for this location? Let's see. I could tell if my internet has been restored. Network connection lost, huh? Good thing I have an alternative. Good thing I got a backup. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Yeah, Cliff Bells is dope, Messy. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Indianapolis, but the difference, let me tell you what the difference is between Indianapolis and Chicago. The difference between Indianapolis and Chicago is that Indianapolis has leadership that will call you out on your BS, and they actually are addressing the problem directly. Here's some of what happened in Indianapolis, and then I'm going to play the police chief's reaction to it.
All right, Katie, thank you. We want to get to some breaking news just into our newsroom. 2 people are dead and several others are injured in a mass shooting in downtown Indianapolis. 5 people were rushed to the hospital for treatment. A 6th victim walked into the hospital a short time later for treatment. 1 person was pronounced dead at the scene. Police do not know the identity or age of the person who died at the scene. Of the 6 wounded, police say 3 are juveniles. One of those juveniles later died at the hospital. Indianapolis's police chief has a stark message for parents.
I don't know how many times I have to say it. We are not your children's keepers.
And he has a point, but instead of us just playing a quick clip of it, let's go ahead and look at the entirety of what he had to say to the people as far as what they're dealing with in Indianapolis. And I was very surprised. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I was very surprised. The reason that I was surprised is because I didn't know that Indianapolis had this type of activity happening there. When I went and visited Indianapolis, it was incredible. And I will admit that it was a little while ago. I rode bikes. Y'all had a phenomenal zoo. You can hear the lions roaring outside of the Indianapolis Zoo, depending on what time that you go or what time that you're roaring the bikes. It's the conference city. Indianapolis is largely known to have some of the best conference sitters and have some of the best conferences in the city. And so I didn't know, of course you know that it's a hood everywhere and it is hood elements everywhere, but I didn't know that Indianapolis had this type of element that was prevalent, but I guess it's happening everywhere right now. This is what he had to say. Let me fast forward it because I know that the lady vice chief or whatever her name was has something to say. We don't want to hear from that. Shout out to her though for doing the work. We celebrate all of our police officers. But this was the police chief answering questions and addressing the issues, and he was basically talking to black parents. He didn't say it because you know they get offended when you actually say, "Hey, black people" or black culture or black parents. He didn't say it, but everybody that got shot, everybody that died just so happened to be black. Everybody that was Roman just so happened to be black. And so he was directly addressing black parents, and this is what he had to say.
Chris Bailey, Chief of Police for the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. I'll just add on a little bit to what she said about our thoughts and prayers for the victims here tonight, their families, and the long road ahead for all of them as we try to uncover exactly what and why this all happened tonight. This kind of violence, whether downtown or any of our neighborhoods, is completely unacceptable and unnecessary. Unnecessary. Thousands of people came downtown tonight, enjoyed the fireworks, and went home. Thousands more chose to come down here and all night cause trouble. I was down here until about 12:30 tonight. I worked with my officers, took the runs with them, dealt with the disturbances, dealt with the utter disrespect for our city, for our laws, and for law enforcement. of unsupervised kids down here. I don't know how many times I have to say it. We are not your children's keepers. You are.
Now you know it's some black woman that's getting mad. That's the single mother saying, I can't believe, because you know, when things happen, right? When there's violence in schools, when people have problems, when there's issues and trouble, what do we like to do? We blame it on the school. We blame it on the teachers. We blame it on the police. We blame it on the mayors. We blame it on the police chief. We blame it on the legislators. We blame it on everybody except for ourselves. It's always a reason why everybody else need to be responsible for your children, but you send them out there and they're the ones that tear up everything. We blame it on everybody. The police is not there to prevent crime. The police is there to address and deal with the crime as it happens. We're not precogs. They can't go out there and then be able to say, hey, you were about to commit a crime. Let me stop you from slapping somebody or pulling a pistol out. They just respond to it. They try to prosecute it, and then they go by the laws that's on the books that is based off of you electing somebody in there to determine what happens and what people can and can't get away with in the first place, because your legislators is a representation of the people that voted for them.
And parents and guardians have got to step up. A kid is dead tonight. And we just don't know the age of the young man down the street, still here, dead.
Look at y'all, still gaslighting. Still gaslighting. Unless I mentioned it, he hasn't mentioned any race, so this could involve all races. Shut the fuck up, man. Just shut that shit up, bro. I honestly, this isn't directed towards you. This is directed towards anybody that has this mentality. You know what the hell is going on. Why we playing games acting like we don't know who the criminals are and who's committing the majority of the crimes in urban communities at the downtown fireworks? In every city across the United States of America. Come on, man. Stop gaslighting, bro. If you go back, and maybe I need to go back and show the people that were walking down and the ones that are in the background and the ones that are committing the crimes and the groups, maybe I need to go back and show it when the news was saying, hey, this is how many people were shot, and they refused to leave. They were just all standing around looking around. No, this was a diversity, equity, and inclusion shooting. This was white people, black people, Hispanic people. This was Asian people. These were all of the people. You know why he didn't say it? Because they can't say, hey, man, it was some black YNs that was downtown shooting up everybody, and now 2 people is dead as a result of it. What you talking about? This could be all races working together. Shut up, bro. Shut up. Shut up. Stop it, bro. Stop it. Stop it. Stop gaslighting. Stop gaslighting. It wasn't. You know who it is. You know who it is. Because if he say it out loud, then y'all going to call him a racist. Oh, man, he a racist. He can't do that in a position of power. See, he can't, but I can. If he say, hey, black parents, hey, parents of African-American children, please get your kids in order, then you're going to be feeling some type of, oh my God. You want him to say one thing, but then he can't. Even when they identify a criminal, we become so weak nowadays in these liberal cities. It was a man, 5'11", with a mask on, and then he took it off, and he had on a hoodie and some blue jeans. Okay, well, what's his nationality? Well, we can't say that now. We can't say what his nationality is because then we will be being prejudiced.
He looks young. It's unacceptable. The police department all night long went from place to place to place, trying to prevent these kind of things. And I gotta be honest, I'm tired of it. You should be tired of it. This is not our job to do this. It is unnecessary. You don't have to act like this. Our officers, half a block away from when before this shooting started, dealing with another group of individuals fighting.
Dealing with another group. You see how he had to catch himself? Dealing with another group of individuals fighting.
Dealing with another group of individuals fighting. We made almost, probably, well, we're still tallying them, about 20 arrests tonight. Recovered guns that I know of before this happened from 2 kids. One of them was an assault rifle stuffed in the front of his pants. I'm not sure anymore what it's going to take for some in our community to wake up. I've said it. This is where the kids are. This is where they are on Friday and Saturday nights. If you want to engage them, if you want to help them, you want to prevent some of this violence, this is where they are. Here, they're here. Come down. I invite all of those who think that I'm exaggerating this or that I'm saying just because it's downtown. No, nowhere else in the city is this concentration of people in one small area, less than a half a mile. Come down and see for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. You can see them being dropped off by their parents, 5 or 6 at a time out of a car. You can see them jump out of Ubers and Lyfts. And you can see them jumping off the buses that they ride down, that they miss and then linger around downtown. Heck, look to your left. You're still going to see some people that probably shouldn't be out here right now lingering.
I can hear him in the background. I can hear them in the background. He said, hey, why the camera so scared to pan to the left, though? He said, hey, look to your left. You probably can see some of them still standing around lingering. Look to your left, big dog. All you got to do is go to the left. I would have did just like this. Look to the left. They right here. They right over there. See them talking? Hear them in the background? They talking while I'm talking.
Your left, you're still going to see some people that probably shouldn't be out here right now lingering. Not going to bars, not going to restaurants, didn't come down here to see the fireworks, shooting fireworks off at our community from the top of parking garages.
I could hear, when I hear them in the background, I could tell what their race is. When I listen to them in the background, I can tell exactly what their race is. They say stuff like, oh, you did your big one today. Wow, what they all talk about that bar? You could tell, we know. Listen, if you had to put your life savings on banking, because for all you diversity, equity, and inclusion advocates, if you had to put everything you ever worked for in your life on one group of people to assume, and you had to profile and assume that this was the race of the person that, or the people that are lingering and committing the crime at this particular thing, who would you bet on? Now remember, you can either lose everything or you can double up. But who would you bet on? What would you put your money on? For all of you diversity, equity, and inclusion advocates, who would you put your money on? I know where I'm putting my money on. I know who ain't gonna let me down. I know who ain't letting me down.
Necessary. Any questions?
Is it going to take other city departments to step up?
No, see, we keep going back to what's the government going to do? What's the city going to do? The city's invested in this. Millions of dollars the city, taxpayers pay for police overtime to staff this 1 square mile area with, there was a couple hundred cops down here between state police and Capitol Police and IMPD and other police department agencies. Yes, we're going to keep doing our job. The city of Indianapolis, government, the police department is going to continue to do our job. We're not going to solve this. Not just by the police. We made 20 arrests tonight.
Bailey, you're a dad.
Yeah.
What would you say to those parents out there?
I don't understand it. I know where my kids are at all time. So maybe that's, maybe I shouldn't be that way. 16-year-old daughter. I cannot imagine letting her roam around down here tonight like she was, like kids were. Unattended, unsupervised, nothing to do. Some of these individuals that were shot could have been very well not engaged in any kind of disturbance whatsoever. But
hey, you see how he had to pay attention to who was walking behind him? Even the police chief is aware. Police chief paying attention. He paying attention, and he see how he's situationally aware. He not just assuming everybody. Y'all want everybody to assume that everybody is good.
Some of these individuals that were shot could have been very well not engaged in any kind of disturbance whatsoever.
Mid-sentence. You see who walked past them?
But very well not engaged in any kind of disturbance whatsoever.
Let me guess. This young black man right here is walking over at 2:30 in the morning during a news thing. He's walking over to go hang out with white people, right? This young man with the hair and the chain is going over to go kick it with other white people that could have committed this crime. Or maybe he was going over to go kick it with Latino people. Maybe he was going over to hang out with the Asians that were in the area so that they can go and kick it, right? Maybe he was going to hang out with some Arabic people that were hanging out right there on the corner in the middle of the 2:30 in the morning right after a shooting. Maybe. We don't know. We can't assume. We got to go by what it is that we think is happening.
These individuals that were shot could have been very well not engaged in any kind of disturbance whatsoever. But it just caught up in a crossfire. Merely down here, enjoying ice cream. Or maybe they were down here for the fireworks or wanted to see what's going on in the circle and got caught up in whatever's happening. But look, nothing good happens after midnight. Some of these kids should not have been out here, period.
Facts, Mr. Lott. I agree with you. He had to be going to a hackathon. Going to make sure that, white hat, black hat, hackathon. He was going to do something productive.
We heard one of our officers prevented two young girls from getting into a stranger's car because they missed the bus to go back home. Wait, you have no ability to call your parents? Your parents wouldn't come pick you up if you missed the bus? There is a problem. There is a problem. It's not going to be solved by the police. It's our job to try to keep people safe, and they did it tonight. I watched it with my own eyes. I helped do some of it. They did all the work. They ran toward the gunfire down here as they were working another fight. They're all in. They're all in. So when I hear people say, oh, we're just worried about minor things in downtown Indianapolis. No, minor things turn into big things. The amount of guns that I saw tonight on people roaming around here with nothing else to do. We can't do anything about it. Like, unless you're a kid, there's nothing, unless you're doing something with the gun or doing something illegal, we can't go up and ask you what you're doing with the gun. That turns into bad things, especially when there's fights or when there's...
He not lying. And I think that, people are uncomfortable with the truth, but you got to give it to them. At some point, or maybe never. Let me not say at some point anymore. I was about to say at some point we have to take ownership and responsibility and start to do things, but I guess we don't. Why would we? This has been going on the same way for my whole lifetime, that's for sure. We don't have to change. Why would we? Well, at least they know that we're going to keep our own population in check. A lot of people keep saying, why are we still only 13% of the population? Because we make sure that we trim off the fat, baby. Between Planned Parenthood and gun violence within the community, we going to just trim off the fat, baby. How are we only 13.6% of the population and we've been here for all of these years? I don't know. I'm confused. We had the most sex, get the most pregnant. Between A plan, B plan, they got a C plan now. I think they're coming out with a D plan. And gun violence, we're going to keep that in check, baby. We going to keep that in check. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Remember, the Q show is tonight. We're going to do a stock club this week, so I'm excited about that. I'm very excited about stock club. Good things. They not protesting over these mass shootings? Of course not. Where is, well, we're not going to worry about it. We're going to get Roland Martin on top of it. We're going to get D.L. Hughley's racist ass on top of it. Jamaica says, at work, snuck away to show love. Stock club soon? Yep. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Tree says, Chief said the exact thing on Saturday morning as an Indy police chief, and he has discharged the kid and the parent. Yeah, we need to start charging the parents too. People are tired of this ghetto behavior, says Chris Cunningham. Just Christian says, he looked like he needs to go on a Carnival cruise. We're like, no, Royal Caribbean. Go on the Royal Caribbean or go on one of them Iceland cruises or something. Relax a little bit, let off some steam. Chris Cunningham says, he basically said, black people fix your community. Just a brown girl in America. What up, baby girl? Says, I'm so glad that St. Louis was ready. They had a surprise thing downtown, and it made the parents come get the kids and cited them too. Over 80 arrested, about 50 or so minors and multiple guns. Yeah, they said that they was holding the parents accountable. They're not messing around. Turtle Island says police probably got YNs on the cold list now. It's bad out here. Again, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I want to pivot for a second because nobody has been more vocal about gentrification in other countries than Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I've seen people get mad at me, do reaction videos of me and some of y'all have been around long enough to actually see me talk about what happens when you move into other countries. And so we're going to combine two different issues here. The first issue, obviously, is we know about the illegal migrants inside of the United States of America. We know that there's Democrats and liberals that protest for them. We know that they think that they are doing something for them and that the people actually give a fuck about them inside of the United States of America. And so they over here for 20 and 30 years, they never learn how to speak English. Some of them only speak Spanish. They never actually seek out citizenship. They commit crimes. They come over here illegally. They not even legal. They don't have no work visas. They don't have nothing. And then they come over here and they feel entitled to the United States of America. And so Trump has said, nope, we're going to come over here legally. We want you, but we want legal migrants, right? But over in Mexico City, they doing it a little bit different. You're over there legally. You have a work visa. One of the requirements is for you to be bringing in income from outside of the United States of America in order to live in some of these places for 6 months out of the year. And they said, get out. Get out. They don't want you there. And I've been doing some research, so I'm going to be dropping some more reaction videos on the Anton Daniels channel. What I'm realizing is that it's not just happening in Mexico City and in Mexico cities in Mexico. It's happening in a lot of the places around the world. A lot of places around the world is saying that they don't want your dollar because you're not a cultural fit and they don't want you gentrifying their areas. Okay. What up, Empress? You like that Darnell situation? Well, guess what? Before I actually show y'all what's happening in these protests in Mexico where they're basically going at American citizens that decide that they want to come over there and bring their American dollar and y'all gonna go over there and live cheaper because it's better to live cheaper and you can go over there and get some box for cheap for 27 pesos. Instead of that, before we get into it, this was so funny because I had this on the docket and this can't be anything but God. This can't be anything but God. So I had planned on doing this review video, and prior to me doing it, for some reason, I just couldn't get to it. I would put it on the end. I always do the review videos on the end. I would do it on the end, and I would have conversations about, and I haven't even done a review video on CNBC lately. But this is a man that says he earns $350,000 a year, high value man. And he says that he only lives and works remotely in Mexico City. So before I actually show y'all what they're protesting for, I want to show you what it is that they're protesting against.
Mexico City is a great city for me because I really love global cities. The vibrancy, the culture, the people, the food, the warm weather. There's just so many things to love about it. I try to be very conscious about coming here not as a tourist. So when I came to Mexico City, I wanted to make sure that I was learning Spanish, that I was making local friends. Mexico is home for me for the foreseeable future. My name is Derek Morgan Jr. I'm 34 years old and live in Mexico City. I'm on track to make more than $350,000 a year in 2025.
See how cheery it is? See how the music. They're gonna show the people and him at the market. Oh, yo, see. Espiano, orange. Yeah, give me the orange. He's learning Spanish. He's bringing his American dollar there. The weather is good. He's embracing the culture. And so he's now one with the people, or so we thought.
I'm a full-service trademark attorney, so that could be anything from a trademark search, trademark prosecution, trademark representation, litigation, office action support. It's A to Z for trademark services. Five years ago when I started, I was working by myself, working 17-hour days. Now, my systems are a lot better. I have myself, my paralegal, and an AI assistant where everything is a lot more streamlined. I've always loved traveling. I've been to 60 countries so far. One thing about travel is just I really love to explore new cultures, new food, new people. And traveling for me has just always been something that I've loved. Mexico is my favorite country by far of the 60 that I've been to, which is also why I decided to move here. There's no requirements for me to be in the States. Trademark law is federal law, so it doesn't matter where you're licensed. As long as you have a US license with the state bar, you can practice anywhere.
So this good man right here, on track to bring in $350,000 a year. Let me show you one of the reasons why he spends a majority of his time down in Mexico City.
Rent here, it's around $2,000. A similar apartment in Chicago would probably be around $4,000 to $5,000.
So he's telling you that one of the reasons that he goes there, and let me just be honest with you guys, for those of you that has not visited somewhere like Mexico City or Central Mexico or something like that, $2,000 is expensive for the people in Mexico City. And so what landlords and business owners are doing is they are raising the prices to capitalize off of the Americans who are so used to paying so much more money now. If you get in big bags like him because he's a nice guy, seems like he's a good nerd, is very, very smart. And don't get me wrong, nerds is up. Like, I am actually celebrating him. I'm not throwing shade. I'm saying that when I say a person is a nerd, that is a term of endearment. That is a compliment. That is something that I'm saying about a person that I think is doing phenomenal. And nerds are winners. Nerds don't get arrested. Nerds don't go to jail. Nerds don't get caught up in nonsense. Nerds ain't out here populating the community and having a whole bunch of kids everywhere. Nerds do what they're supposed to do so that they can then add value into the community and culture. And then they live their lives how they want to, not affecting and not hurting anybody. Often at times, actually pouring back into society and leaving it better as a result of them being here. So they are the counterbalance to the people that we just seen over in Indianapolis. Nerds are cool. Nerds are awesome. All right. So you got this guy and he's over there. And so landlords are basically not just landlords, business owners, grocery stores everywhere. They're capitalizing off of the fact that a place like a Mexico City, which traditionally you had people that were native to Mexico living in Mexico City and operating cheaply. They didn't use American dollars. They only operated off of pesos. And then they accommodated visitors and tourists. But they didn't know that y'all was going to go over there and try to live there, because now that y'all trying to live there, they know that y'all used to paying a certain amount of money for the same quality. So they're going to cut the price in half, maybe even to 40%. And they still gonna make a crazy amount of money. And what that does is it raises the value and the prices for other people that are native to the place. So the same thing that you complain about in your communities and wherever it is that you are, oh man, the white people coming in and they moving all of us out. Well, they complaining about it over there, except for they're more direct in their communication. And they're saying to you, we don't want you here because you're not native to this place. And and when they say speak Spanish or get out, they're not telling you to learn Spanish or get out. They're saying that either you're native to the land, either you are a Spanish speaking, culturally understanding, and you are born and raised in Mexico, or you can get out because all you're doing is messing it up for everybody else, bringing in your little dollars. That is what they're telling you, okay? See if there's anything out of this. I need to go.
Prospective client.
We don't need to see any more. So this is what they are saying over in Mexico City, where this young man is living. And this is what they're trying to say to you and how they feel about you coming over there and running up the bag and running up the cost of living for them.
These protesters in Mexico City say cross-border migration is changing their country's capital for the worse. Over the last decade, an influx of mostly American so-called digital nomads have moved here to work remotely and also enjoy a cheaper cost of living.
This, I'm be honest with y'all, when I first seen this video, because I was the first person to start covering this as far as one of the bigger YouTubers. I wouldn't even consider myself a big YouTuber. I would say one of the mid-sized YouTubers. I was one of the first people to actually start having a conversation with this. Now the bigger networks, because they look at my stuff, they starting to pick up some of the same things that I'm covering. And so now they starting to have a conversation about it. But nobody was even up on this. But I thought that this was Los Angeles. I thought that this was Los Angeles when I first started looking at these videos and I started researching what was going on over in Mexico City.
Protesters say the newcomers have driven up rents beyond the reach of locals.
If they're going to live in a country, they have to contribute to that country. The first and simplest issue is legal migration. They come here with visas or no visas, and still the change in purchasing power generates these problems of gentrification and displacement.
I'm here because gentrification is just one more step towards colonization, dispossession, and the exploitation of our resources. Right now it's about the people, but it won't be long before they run out of oil, water, or lithium in other countries and come and take them from us.
Many Americans in Mexico are able to still receive high salaries in dollars from U.S. companies by working on laptops from their apartments.
The government is directing its public policies towards people with higher purchasing power, often illegally displacing local populations who have lived in these neighborhoods for 40, 50, and we have even documented cases of up to 60 years. In 5 years, rents have increased by 47%. This is violent for the local population. We are debating whether to pay for electricity, water, or food. Of course, we choose to eat.
Some activists blame Mexico's government for encouraging them. However, there's no simple fix. Imposing tougher visa restrictions on Americans could worsen relations with the U.S. Mexican citizens in the U.S. also send billions of dollars in remittances back to their families in Mexico.
Let me, I don't want y'all to skip over that part. I don't want y'all to skip over that part that we just looked at. All right? I don't want you to act like you didn't hear that. Let me play it again for you, for the people in the back.
World Business blame Mexico's government for encouraging them. However, there's no simple fix. Imposing tougher visa restrictions on Americans could worsen relations with the U.S. Mexican citizens in the U.S. also send billions of dollars in remittances back to their families in Mexico.
Mexico people in the U.S. Mexico people, Mexicans in the United States of America. This is why, listen. This is why the Mexican government is refusing to address this issue, right? You see how Trump can directly address it and say, listen, you're over here illegally. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. You're not on top of things. You're not taking care of business. You're over here committing crimes. We had to create the Lake and Riley Act. And so now we got to start deporting the people that's not here legally. The reason why the Mexican government is leery on addressing this issue and saying, listen, they are bringing money into our economy, and we don't really have any real economy that's not interdependent or is needing to be based off of something that's happening outside of Mexico, whether that be Chinese companies, whether that be Europe, or whether that be America. The reason why they don't want to address this is because they don't want to mess up even worse than they have with Trump, because there's a lot of people that come over here, make a bunch of money, documented it or undocumented, legally or illegally, and they take American money and they send it back home so that they people can live comfortably. They are siphoning billions and billions and billions of dollars every single year out of the American economy, and they're leveraging it in order to get themselves a better life. And so they send their people over here, and their people is expected to make sure that they send some money back home too. And so that is why they are weary on addressing the issue of Americans over in Mexico City, living there for half of the year, most of the time during the winter, and using their dollars, but at the same time it's messing up the economy for the people that actually live there, is born and raised there. Correct, Philip. They want your money, but they don't want your people. They want your money. Listen to me. I know that y'all think that the world loves y'all, but people in the world are just as transactional as people everywhere else in the United States of America. I know you think that the women here don't love you in the United States of America and they not giving you no play, but the women over there, they adore you and they just think that you're great, the greatest of all time. They not stupid. They got the same brain size. They have the same IQ. They think you a sucker too. They just know that they can capitalize off of you because the standards here in the United States of America is a little bit different than the standards over there. You give them some money, man, they balling. They balling for the rest of the year. They may be only making $15 a day, $15 a week. That's real talk. $15. You just paid $40 for some box. Nigga, you changed some lives over there. Some pimp named Cuddy in Mexican language, Cote. I don't know what the Mexican name for Cuddy is. Cuddy over there said, hey man, you better keep that simp, keep that chump over there. Matter of fact, tell him you're gonna marry him and that he can spend, a piece of his time here, and then you're gonna have to live with him. You're gonna have to stay with him for like 2.5 months when he come back, and make sure that you stay rocking with him. And he gonna say that he taking care of you. He got him a whole family. I mean, I know we all bust you down, but dog, this is the come up. Yeah, me, Hernandez, Jose, Jesus, and Jorge. So what? We bust you down. Girl, are you seeing the vision? He gonna change all of our lives. He coming over here and he gonna make sure that he change all of our lives. And you over here, yeah, man. The women over there is way more submissive. What, you thought that she was being celibate when you not there? You think she focused, right? She just clean up the house every day and all she got to do is just chill. No. She focused. She focused because she loyal to you. When you go back to the United States of America for 8 to 9 months out of the year, and then when you come back, Jorge is over there too. No. They think that women are different everywhere. All women are different. And so the women over there are more loyal to you just because you not him here, you him there. And so you. And so now you different over there than here. And so you get different results. Did you get a DNA test? Just to make sure that that's your kid. You should get a DNA test. I'm not saying that that's not your kid, but I'm just saying get a DNA test. El Cuddy Zeus. I'm not saying that the women here is not out of control. I'm just saying that you really believe that. You believe that they not the same there too, but they just poor. And now they revolting. Get them out of here. We don't want their money no more.
In a world where travel and communication are faster and easier than ever, these two nations are finding it harder to have neighborly relations. Wilson Dysard, Al Jazeera.
You know what y'all should do? Y'all should bring them over here for like vacation. How are you living over there in the U.S.? You rich? Ooh, you make $47,000 a year. Oh my God. Oh, we hit the jackpot. Let them know you one of the poor ones over here. Bring them over for vacation for like 3 weeks and let them see how you living. Girl, $47,000 a year. Oh. Let them know you one of the poor ones. Oh, you just keeping your head above water over here. Just keeping your head above water over here. She'll leave you in 3 seconds. Just telling you the truth. We gonna Americanize her. Oh yeah. We gonna Americanize her. Listen, that's why y'all keeping them little hoes over there. That's the truth. That's why you keep them over there. And I think you should. It's the same as a dude. All right, let me break it down like this. This is the same as the dudes that try to keep their chicks off the internet. You live in a small town. She a baddie with a fatty and daddy. She's a fairy, and she a baddie, right? She got long hair. She got good skin and all of that stuff. She live over there in Muskegon, Michigan, or something. You know what I'm saying? Something further away. Bring her to the city. Bring her to the city. Let her take a girl's trip to the city. Come on down. Because all she know is rural America. She had 47 people in her elementary school. By the time she got to high school, 13 of them graduated. She been on a small farm her entire life, but she a baddie. She's an anomaly. She's not an inbred. She's a baddie. She's an anomaly. And all she know is you. All she know is you. So bring her to the city and let her see what the life is over here. We're going to Americanize that bee. Gonna turn her out. She'll never see the same. She can't even go home. Home is not even. Her father is gonna be disappointed in what because we got our name tattooed on her now. Her hair different. She talk different. She walk different. She look different. She got a whole nother thing to her. She ain't never ever experienced this. Oh my God, what happened to my Megan? Megan, who are you today? Who are you, Megan? I'm a bag chaser now. I'm a bag chaser. The chasers got me. Anyways, I think y'all should bring y'all Mexican chicks or y'all Asian chicks or y'all Dominican chicks. Bring them over to the United States of America. Introduce us to them. Let us meet them. Hey, how you doing? And then we go from there. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. She breathed different. Oh, man. She used to breathe out of her mouth. Now she breathes out of her nose. Taught her how to breathe out of her nose more effectively. She used to breathe out. That's too much. Because you're going to be trying to figure out what I'm talking about and all of that. I don't want you trying to figure that out. Let's see what we got here in this shell. She used to always breathe out of her. Remember, she used to sleep with her mouth. She breathed different. Michelle says, wait, so Mexicans don't like me? The idea of immigrants coming over and driving up the prices? Who knew? Make Mexico great for once. Yeah. When hypocrisy comes back to bite you in the butt. Talk about it, Jessica. Talk about it, Yvette. Yeah. Listen, Trey, we don't talk to people with no profile pictures. We don't talk to people with no profile picture. You're going to have to learn how to use your phone to upload a profile picture before we can address that. JC says Americans need their cheap labor, quid pro quo. A Soul says, you should bring your chick to a meetup. Where we going next? Where we going next in September, y'all? A Soul says she's using your money to pay Jorge's bills when you fly back to the United States of America. Denise says, Anton, how do you deal with family negativity? My conservative views and presentation gets criticized. They don't support me and say I do too much. Let me tell you how you deal with it, Denise. You don't. I think that, let me tell y'all how to do this. The problem with most conservatives, or problem with new Republicans and new conservatives, because I had this problem too myself. The problem with people that get new boyfriends or anything like that, anything that you do new, any new you get more money, you get a better job. You think that you presenting yourself and celebrating yourself or expressing your views to try to convince other people that they need to switch over to or whatever is new saints, people that discover God. Anything that you do new, especially from a political perspective, you don't have to say anything. You can keep being authentically you, and you don't have to have conversations about what you think makes sense. They can see it on you. That's what I've learned. In my 43 years on this earth, this is what I've learned. People can see the success on you. They can't help it. They can't ignore it. They can see that you're smarter. They're going to see you get better results. They're going to see that you have a better lifestyle. They're going to see that you continue to evolve, and they want to be a part of it. And the ones that really want to grow, the ones that really want to go, they're going to make the adjustment, and they're going to ask you, and then you're going to tell them. And that's how you then change people's. That's why I tell people you don't have to recruit for God. You just got to live your life and show the results. Greatness attract people that want to be great. Greatness attract greatness. So your problem is that you're not separating it and you can't cut it off. When I go around my people, I don't sit here and say, yeah, man, you know how rich. What, you don't think I know that they watch? You don't think that I know that they know? You don't think that they paying attention? Everybody watches. Everybody knows. Even when people act like they don't know. Yeah, man, so what you been up to? Nothing. Chilling, man. Trying to figure it out. Having a good time. What y'all got going on? I always redirect the question. Hey, man, how would you do this, do this? Well, what do you think? What would you do? Art of conversation. Y'all got to learn how to be able to separate the two. Everything don't need to be talked about. You don't need to talk about, because all you're going to do is make them mad, make them jealous, make them angry. They're going to get mad at you, and they're going to feel some type of way about it, and they're going to just try to come at you. You don't have to prove nothing to nobody. All you got to do is be a winner. What, you don't think that they see the cars and the clothes and the evolution and successes and the moves that you're making? Oh, they watching. They watching. Everybody watches everybody. You know how I know that everybody watches everybody? Because I watch people that I don't like, because I am invested in making sure that they continue to do the thing that they've been doing in order to not be successful. I put it on Twitter this weekend. I said, I love making sure that I keep tabs on my people that are haters and enemies of me. Because I have a vested interest in ensuring that you just keep being dustier and dustier and dustier. And I'm watching. I'm not going to mention you because I'm too big to mention you now. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to mention your name in order for you to get some visibility. I see you talking. I see you feeling some type of way about it. But I am invested in your dustiness. That's how petty I am. I am so petty. And this is the honest to God truth. I told y'all this before. I got a whole Apple Notes of lists of everybody. And once a quarter, 4 times a year, I go through and I look them up. I look them up on social media. I look up their channels to see how often they done posted. I look to see what domestic violence issues that they've done. I have an assistant that goes and pulls up their arrest records. I want to know if you've recently gotten some time. If you did, I go and check Otis. A lot of people not familiar with Otis. Otis is the online platform where you can basically go and look up and research any inmate. I want to know how much more time you got because you fought off some guy that tried to fuck you in the ass. I want to know everything. So once a quarter, I go through my list. Okay. I like the way you moving. I like the way you bleed, nigga. I like the way you. And I don't say nothing. I keep it to myself. Once a quarter, 4 times a year. Every season. Winter, fall, spring, summer, especially in the summer when we out having a good time. When we dancing and we free and we having a good time and we doing all of the things that we want to do and you over there and you in jail, I love it. I love it. When you are struggling to make the right decision of whether or not you want to steal that honey bun, and you know that since you got a record, the judge is not going to go easy on you, I want to be the person that is sitting there in the courtroom in the back. When they finally give you your third strike, and they say, listen, you just can't get right. You going to get 25 to life. I'm going to be sitting there in the back, and I'm going to just get up and walk out. Because I learned, ain't no point in going back and forth with people. The best form of revenge is looking at them be dusty. Every person, every woman that got some visibility, that ever said anything negative, that said that they can't wait for me to get divorced, every year that I stay married, and I got 21, 22, 23 or whatever, and I see they keep on failing in their relationships, they keep talking about, listen, it's one of you. Let me tell you who you are, and you know who I'm talking to. Remember when you came and you asked me to help you get married? And the guy that you was talking to, you told me to talk to him in order to and then you switched up? I like the way you still single, baby. I like the way you raising your son and you raising your people. I love the way you raising your family as a single mother. I have a vested interest in watching people. I am a long distance binocular having, looking up from the suite, watching motherfuckers fail. I love the way y'all numbers be looking. I love the way that everybody else is wrong except for you. I have a vested interest in making sure that I observe and I am watching. The watchers. Things just ain't the same for gangsters. Times is changing. Young niggas is aging. I love it. So I haven't had anybody that I've added to the list in like 6 months, but largely that's just because I only mess with chasers. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn it up. Oh, I got some people that I'm watching, and I like the way you niggas fail. I love it. I found out one of my biggest haters, they recently got an eviction notice. How did I know that? Because I'll be checking the court systems inside of their area. I'll be trying to figure out what's going on. I found it out, keeping it in the tuck. Made sure I saved it, added it up to your profile. I got profiles. I have entire folders in the cloud dedicated to your failure. Eviction notice? Let me tuck that in the back pocket. We're going to revisit this later. But to answer your question, you don't have to reply to anybody. The greatest form of retaliation is success. They gonna throw ad hominem attacks. They gonna say you sell out. They gonna say you think you better than everybody else. They gonna call you gay. They gonna do all of these things. And that's how you know you won. Because they can't actually stand on anything as far as what they actually disagree with that's best for them. Everything is going to be based off of you. $100%. And it motivates me and it drives me. Do you know how many niggas is mad that I have so much motion right now? Oh my God. It's niggas in the chat watching right now. And they tune in every day. Is he gonna fail? Is he something gonna happen to him? I know something. They've been waiting for like 9 years. Keep waiting, nigga. Keep waiting, nigga. We gonna talk about it. Anyways, what we talking about? What's next? Oh, we gotta go over to Trump. I'm gonna read the super chats, more super chats shortly. We gonna go over to Trump. Trump actually spoke on. Oh, that's my list. Let me take that off. Trump actually, look at me. I almost showed one of my lists. That was actually my notes of the different things that I have to address. Actually, I could show y'all that. Let me show y'all a little bit of what I do. I'll show y'all that. See my lists? This is how I kind of organize my stuff, of how it is that I move on a regular basis. So if you actually see, these are all of the different topics that I want to choose from and dress and all of that type of stuff. So I actually showed y'all that by mistake, but I guess that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Let me see. What are we talking about? What is this, 7? Oh, we on 5. All right, let's go to 5. Trump actually spoke about everything that was happening over in Texas, as well as Elon Musk possibly starting a new party. Elon Musk liked one of my posts this weekend. I thought that was pretty cool on X. Anyways, let's continue.
Thank you very much. We've been in touch with Governor Abbott and very close to Governor Abbott and everybody in Texas. Kristi Noem has, as you know, been there and will continue to be there. And we're working very close with representatives from Texas, and it's a horrible thing that took place. Absolutely horrible. So we say God bless all of the people that have gone through so much, and God bless the state of Texas. It's an incredible place. Any questions, please?
President, are you still planning to phase out FEMA?
Well, FEMA is something we can talk about later, but right now they're busy working, so we'll leave it at that. Go ahead.
For the trade letters that you're sending out on Monday, Secretary Bessent said that it would be a 3-week extension and that rates could go back up to the April 2nd level on August 1st. Is that what we should be
sending letters out on Monday having to do with the trade deals? It could be 12, maybe 15. You know, Secretary of Commerce right here. And I guess, Howard, I would say it could be maybe as many as 15 or so. And they'll be going out on Monday, and some will go out on Tuesday and Wednesday, and and we've made deals also. So we're going to have a combination of letters, and some deals have been made.
Your reaction to Elon Musk starting a third party?
I think it's ridiculous to start a third party. We have a tremendous success with the Republican Party. The Democrats have lost their way, but it's always been a two-party system. And I think starting a third party just adds to confusion. It really seems to have been developed for two parties. Third parties have never worked. So he can have fun with it, but I think it's ridiculous.
Elon Musk, in my opinion, kind of suffers from having too much money. I think he suffers from having too much money. Some things that he says, it makes sense. And I think that Elon Musk has grown so far beyond money that Elon Musk basically wants to shape the United States and the world, for that matter, in his image. And so he's one of those type of people that if he doesn't like something, then he can't sleep unless he probably has to do something to change it. I don't believe that he bought Twitter, now renamed into X. I don't believe that he bought it because he actually seen it as a business investment. I don't think Elon gave a fuck. I believe that Elon Musk bought Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, because he wanted to have a say-so and he wanted to have some input and some he had issue with the fact that there was a lot of censorship that was going on, especially when it came to these liberal organizations that was parading and masquerading around as social media / news organizations. I don't believe that Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post. Remember when Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post? I don't believe that Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post because he looked at it as an investment. Because think about it. I know a lot of y'all think that some people care that have an extraordinary amount of resources, that they actually care about some of the investments. Some things they don't look at it as an investment. Some things they look at as a play. Some things they look at as power. Some things they look at it as control. When you get past a certain amount of money, and that can be respective in anything that you do. Let's say, for example, you are a person that makes $100,000 a year, right? And you want to make an impact in your family or certain things or whatever. You want to make an impact in your church. You will usually be one of the bigger givers. You will be the person that they come to. It's a status thing. It's a clout thing. It's a power move. You know what I'm saying? And so it's the same thing when it comes to moving in the city. There are certain people. Man, I shouldn't say this. I know of who's who, what, when, where, and why, and how, and who's all moving around in my city. And it's one of the reasons I love being in my city, because you become familiar with the politics. And when I say with the politics, I'm not just talking about the front-facing politicians. I'm not talking about whoever it is that's pretending to run for mayor. I'm not talking about the city council. I'm not talking about none of that. I'm talking about the real politics, what's happening behind the scenes of who's who and what, and who knows who and who's giving a play on what's going on. And there are certain people, for example, that really believe that they the man in a city. And so you keep quiet and you move a little bit differently and you make moves. And so it's kind of sort of politics behind the scenes. And it happens in every single city. So when I see, for example, an Elon Musk say something like, well, I'm going to start my own political party, I believe that is him, to be frank, pouting and saying that he wants to do something about the fact that he's powerless when it comes to politics. One of the biggest blow probably to Elon Musk's ego as a person that has been overly successful and that has overcome every single odd that has been placed against him is the fact that he pretty much, if we want to be frank, lost the war when it came to politics and what happens with this big, beautiful bill with Trump, because he couldn't influence the Republicans. He couldn't impact Trump. And I think that he's saying, no, now we need to get a new political party. Most of the time, political parties, the Green Party, all of these new parties, right? They ultimately get folded into the two-party system that we have. As much as you may not like Democrats, as much as you may not like Republicans, what happens is a lot of the talking points that you even seen from Kamala Harris was ultimately stolen from Jill Stein. So unless you are willing to basically become the feeder party for the bigger party in the United States of America, because like it or not, we got a two-party system, unless you want to become the feeder party. So basically you come up with an idea, you get some traction behind it. It is then adopted by a much bigger party, whether it be the Republican or the Democrat Party. Unless you want to become that and you want to spend a whole lot of money in order to craft politics through that way, then you're wasting your time. But if you're actually looking to use it in order to try to make an impact and determine whether or not a candidate from your party is going to be one of the ones that then becomes visible and controlling what happens as far as our legislator inside of the United States of America, yep, the libertarians. That's why I don't pay no attention to when these people say I'm independent, I'm libertarian, I'm the Green Party and all of that stuff. Yeah, it's on the ballot. It's on the ballot. but is it really making a difference as far as the visibility and what happens inside of these political parties? So I believe that what you're basically seeing is him not being able to take his L and him saying, well, listen, I want to do something different because I don't like how this thing played out between what happened with me and Trump. And I could be wrong.
So what's your feedback? Golden keyback from Elon.
Go ahead.
What's your message going to be to Netanyahu tomorrow?
Well, we're working on a lot of things with Israel, and one of the things is probably a permanent deal with Iran. In other words, they have to give up all of the things that you know so well. The attack turned out, according to every single Atomic Energy Commission, that was a complete and total obliteration. And we had the pilots, as you know, at the White House on Friday. They were incredible. And they confirmed that. They know better than anybody, by the way, but they confirmed that every bomb hit its mark perfectly. And they would have to start all over again at a different location. This one is, the word I used was the correct word, obliteration.
What will your message be on Gaza to Netanyahu?
I think we're close to a deal on Gaza. We could have it this week.
Democrats are claiming your federal cuts for the deaths over in Texas.
Yeah, go ahead.
He just skipped right over some. He don't even answer some of these people.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance we have a deal with Hamas during the coming week, pertaining to quite a few of the hostages.
Somebody say you won't get any more likes on your post after saying that. Okay. I don't do it for likes, I guess. I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I appreciate it. I like the fact that certain things was liked and all of that, but I don't do it for likes. I do it because this is really what my opinion is. So if I give my opinion on some stuff and they agree with it, cool. If not, then you keep moving. You keep working.
Yeah. We've gotten a lot of the hostages out, but pertaining to the remaining hostages, quite a few of them will be coming out. We think we'll have that done this week.
Mr. President, do the tariff rates change at all on July 9th, or do they change on August 1st?
What are you talking about?
Tariff rates, do they change on July 9th or August 1st?
No, they're going to be tariffs. The tariffs are going to be the tariffs. I think we'll have most countries done by July 9th, yeah. Either a letter or a deal.
But they go into effect on August 1st. Tariffs go into effect August 1st, but the president is setting the rates and the deals right now.
Okay?
Are you investigating whether some of the cuts to the federal government left key vacancies at the National Weather Service or in the emergency coordination?
No,
they did not.
They did. I'll tell you, if you look at that what a situation that all is, and that was really the Biden setup. That was not our setup, but I wouldn't blame Biden for it either. I would just say this is a 100-year catastrophe, and it's just so horrible to watch.
Yeah, I don't think that you can really control what happens with, well, some people will say you can't control the weather. I don't think that you could have controlled or predicted what was going to happen in Texas. Again, shout out to Shay Keys. Okay, I got you, baby. I know, Tasha, I know it's a joke. I know it's a joke. Prayers up for the people over there in Texas. Shout out to Trump. He's recently signed the bill over the weekend for the 4th of July. Great president, great things. I'm not tired of winning yet. I want some more victories. I want some more dubs. And I also like to appreciate Trump because Trump actually speaks to, and again, we are so used to it after 6 months because we've been practically seeing and reporting on and having conversations and having him comment on things every single day. We didn't see this level of visibility with the Biden administration. We just didn't. He was unavailable, unaware. He was, if they didn't have his prepared remarks, he would look stupid on camera. Every time we seen Biden, he was basically being teased by other world leaders, and he got no respect and he got nothing done except for higher inflation and higher costs in the United States of America. So we have to show some love and some respect to our Trump, our president, regardless of whether you voted for him or not. You still benefiting from his great policies. Let me go ahead and continue to read super chats, and then we're going to move over to the next subject. I love this show. I love this show. I promise you I'm going to focus on growing the Millionaire Morning. I'm not interested in kind of growing this before I hit a certain milestone on the Anton Daniels channel. Then I'll focus more on this, and then I'll focus on After Hours a little bit. Actually, I'm going to jump into After Hours. I'm going to focus on that. And then once that hit a number, then I'm going to focus on the Millionaire Morning Show. Shout out to Denise for the question. I appreciated you, baby. Let her know you live in let her know you live in Highland Park. Oh, she going to run if I say that. If I say I live in Highland Park, maybe missed a lot. Maybe we should go and just take over a whole city like a Highland Park. How would that work? Would we be able to do that? I don't want to take over a city that's just super depressed, though. I want to take over a city that was kind of like doing okay and doing well. I'm kind of in the process of trying to implement that right now. But what if like we just went and took over a city that was trash and we turned it into whatever it is that we wanted to turn it into? Thank you, Kay Cooper. That would be kind of dope. Take it over block by block. And then once you take it over block by block, you own the whole city. And then at the same time, you own the city council. You own everybody that's in the city. That's what Dan Gilbert kind of did in Detroit, and he turned it around. King to all says, you got us dying over here, AD, them Spanish noises. 392Q says, 80 the chat said Tokyo for the 1 million. Well, I'm trying to be mindful of people because you know what? I don't want to do I want to do something where I can actually make it easier for people to do it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we do the next meetup to celebrate the 1 million. I don't know. Right? But we got to get to 1 million. We don't want to count our chickens before it hatch. So I don't know. I want to make everything accessible to people. More Than Mellow says, had to update that profile pic after my meeting. Can't be the ugly baby. It might be updating tomorrow. You're not an ugly baby. Yo, AD, remind me not to get on your bad side. Brando, here's the thing. It doesn't matter if I'm checking to see if people are failing or not. Because it's still ultimately up to them. So I check quarterly just to double check and see how people are doing because I am truly interested in see how much they fail considering that they said negative things about me. But I don't interfere. You see what I'm saying? I'm a, what do you call those Marvel characters that watch and make sure that things continue to do whatever it is that they do, but they don't interfere in other people? I observe people. I don't participate in their failure unless you want to say from a content creation perspective, I'm just doing better than them. But I don't, you see what I'm saying? It's still up to them. Anybody that I observe or anybody that I watch and if they are successful or they're not successful, it still don't have nothing to do with me. That has everything to do with their own being. And so when people fail, it's still a self-inflicted wound. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just laughing in the background because I find it entertaining. But it don't matter if you're on my bad side or you're on my good side. The determination for whether you're going to be successful is up to you. It don't have nothing to do with me. I would never put energy into other people not being successful when I can put more energy into me being more successful. I would rather put my life force, my actual actions into myself than to focus on stopping somebody else and tearing somebody else down. So even though I may not like you, it doesn't matter if I like you or not. It's still up to you. It's still up to you. You're still the determining factor for whether or not you become successful or you don't become successful. Kay Cooper says, what happened to that man who cussed you out on the live about his wife? What was her name? Oh, I don't even remember. I don't go back to mentioning names. I just let people do whatever they want to do. Hold on now, AD. You sound like Diddy talking to Fab. Huh? Just kidding. Great show. Thank you, John McCulloch. I appreciate you. No, I don't really care about what people do. I just watch and laugh. Somebody said, this is what Anton say. I don't care about likes. Also hit a like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. You know what? I'm just so used to saying it. It's just almost like repetition. Maybe I need to change the way that I say some things. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. Make sure you tap into the Patreon link. Like you just say it out of repetition. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to change some things. See, now that you mentioned that, I'm going to start changing the way I say certain things. Make sure you love on each other. And then the best time to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. Now what? Yep. Ben McLemore. They say that he's probably going to be sentenced to more than 8 years in prison for rape. I couldn't believe it. Somebody actually put me up on this story and they said, Anton, you got to check out this story. And it was last week. And I was like, what? Ben McLemore. You know, when I thought about Ben McLemore, I was thinking about McLemore, the rapper. Remember the rapper, that white rapper that had blew up for a little while or whatever? I'm like, man, he caught a charge. And then y'all sent it to me in my email. And so I checked it out. And I was absolutely like, I can't believe that this is happening. So let me bring y'all up to speed on what's going on with Mr. McLemore. He took the stand and he talked about what he was dealing with. And so basically, just to give y'all a little bit of a snapshot of what's going on, he was accused of busting down a snow bunny. I know. Y'all keep on coming to me every day talking about how much more awesome the snow bunnies are and how good they are and how awesome they are and how much better they are than every other woman on the face of the earth, including black women. And I say that they are all the same. And as a matter of fact, there are cultural differences between them, right? Every woman has cultural differences, negatives and positives, even though the nature of most women are the same. For example, black women tend to be louder than other women. Now take that for meaning for whatever you want to say. But black women tend to be louder. Louder in the home, louder when they argue, louder and belligerent, all of that. Tend to be. Now, is this applicable to every single black woman? Of course not. Of course not. Because if that was the case, then I wouldn't be married. White women, in my opinion, tend to be a little bit more chameleon-like. Listen, if you catch a case from a white woman, if you get divorced from a white woman, if you got to go to child support court for a white woman, and I don't know why all of these men are so blind to it, but you probably have a 10 times more likely to get convicted, have to pay child support, or to give up half of your stuff than you would if you was to have to go through that with a black woman. It's just the facts. It just is what it is. I know y'all don't like stereotypes. All of a sudden, you only like it when it's applicable to men versus women, but you don't want it to apply when it comes to white women versus black women versus Asian women. White women play no games. They play no, if they feel some sort of shame after they get it bust down for a real one, guess what? Nigga, you gonna be on trial and you might go to jail. I don't care if you're a former basketball player. I don't care what you are. You might go to jail. You will have a strong possibility of, boy, you better spend that $20 million like Diddy did on his defense. Better spend that 20 M's like Diddy did on his defense. You might go to jail. You might be in prison, big dog.
Was there any point along the way that you thought
Former Trailblazer Ben McLemore took the stand in his defense on Thursday, telling his version of what happened at a house party where he was accused of raping a woman after a night of drinking. McLemore says the evening began with bowling before team members met at Robert Covington's Lake Oswego home for cards and drinking.
But I was just, just being there and just enjoying the night and just, having that time with my teammates and stuff.
McLemore testified he encountered the alleged victim in the bathroom after some of her friends asked him to help move her to the couch because she was intoxicated. McLemore said he eventually fell asleep on that same couch and then woke up a few hours later with that woman's hands down his pants.
Fondling me. and basically rousing me. So that's what pretty much woke me up. Again, I'm in deep sleep.
That's when McLemore says he began having sex with a woman, an encounter he describes as consensual.
She didn't show no signs of distress or discomfort.
Just throwing it back for a real one.
You know, give me no signs at all or alertness.
So they was both drunk. They went to a party. They went bowling. They was with teammates. They let these little young snow bunnies come to the crib. They was drinking. They both sitting on the couch. Chick threw up in the bathroom. That would have been the sign for me right there. You know what? You throwing up? Nah, I'm straight. I don't even really like drunk chicks like that. So next thing you know, he wake up. She got her hands on a black snake moan. Then she pulled her pants down. Black snake moan. He bust her down for a real one. Let's continue.
Of that.
McLemore says that he and the alleged victim never spoke with each other before, during, or after the encounter, and he left Covington's house immediately after they had sex. During cross-examination, the prosecution argued the alleged victim never consented to sex with McLemore.
So basically what they're trying to say, the prosecution was saying, was you basically practically got to ask, and you have to ask only when she's 100% sober. Not tomorrow, not the next day, but the day after that when all of the alcohol is out of her system. Hey, can we bust it down for a real one? Yes, Ben. And then you can proceed. And if any point she shows some level of discomfort or she says, I don't know, you got to pull out. You got to keep it moving. You got to step away. And even then, it's her word against yours. There's no evidence. There was no rape kit. There was no anything. This was her saying that I don't know if I'm happy about the fact that we busted open for a real one. I don't want to hold accountability for putting my hands down his pants. And what I am upset about is the fact that he blocked me and he didn't speak to me and he didn't give me his number and we didn't get a talk and I don't get to get that NBA dating or even get a picture with him after we busted down for a real one. What is the best way to avoid putting yourself in this situation, y'all? Pop quiz. What is the best way to avoid putting yourself in this situation? Some people will say, we'll just get married. No, that doesn't prevent anything. That doesn't mean that somebody can accuse you of doing something that you didn't do. Anybody can accuse anybody of doing anything that they didn't do. What is the best way for you to avoid somebody falsely accusing you or saying that something happened and it didn't happen or saying that they didn't consent and all of this stuff? Some people are also going to say, well, you make them sign the paperwork. Well, yeah, of course, that makes sense. Marcus G says self-control, AD. Well, guess what? Self-control does not prevent you from having an accusation. Anybody can be Me Too'd. Anybody. Bro, there are women from 30 years ago in New York that's basically saying because of the New York survivor law, hey, this person had did something to me 30 years ago. Bill Cosby got Cosby'd from 40, 50 years ago. These women are old hags, and they went after him. Trump got accused and sued in New York based off of a woman saying that she was in a department store and he wanted her or something like that, and he didn't even get accused of anything outside of like wanting her or something. He's, man, I ain't never seen that chick before in my life. This was 20, 30 years ago that she's saying that this thing happened. So, no, it has nothing to do with self-control. No, it has nothing to do with any of the things that you guys are saying at all. At all. None of it. People are getting accused whether they want to or not. Two answers. The first one is that you really can't avoid putting yourself in that type of situation because, again, anybody can say anything whenever they want to. And with that being said, what you have to start doing is only kicking it with, aligning with, and rocking out with people that have something to lose. And this is why I tell y'all can't keep talking to the chick in the McDonald's line. Stop talking to chicks and dating down. You have to rock out with people that are equally yoked, because people that have just as much to lose as you are less likely to put you in a compromising position because they don't want to hurt themselves. And they're very rarely to never ever going to accuse you of doing something that you didn't do. Because there's no upside in it for them. Let me say it again. This is the dilemma of when you continue to go up and go higher is because your pool gets smaller. And that's why people that are at a higher level, that are the smart ones, they tend to only congregate with other people that are in that same sphere. Because you're not going to get a person that accuses you of something that you didn't do because they have just as much to lose as you. And more importantly, in most instances, obviously I'm not saying never, that goes without saying, but when you deal with people that have just as much to lose as you, you're less likely to find yourself in a compromised position. But you can never stop it completely. But the thing that you can do is put yourself in the best position possible. And I'm not even talking about just dating or relationships. I'm talking about your inner circles. You can't hang with everybody. You can't be with everybody. You can't go and chill out with the chicks that's at the party because you a big old figure or you got a lot of money and all of that other type of stuff. You can't just jump out the car and start shooting dice on the corner. You can't be in the same spaces as everybody else. And I know you still want to keep it real, but what I'm telling you is that you have to start thinking about how you are going to suffer if and when something was to ever happen and how to prevent yourself from being in those situations in the first place.
I did say on direct, it was one of the most terrible things I've ever done in my life.
Right.
Having sex with an unconscious woman would be one of the most terrible things, wouldn't it?
I wouldn't say unconscious, but that moment was illegal.
Brandon the Great says, to be honest, most women have little to lose, which means you can't deal with most women. Which means that if you are a man of means, significant success, and if you are going to go you can't deal with most women. That's the whole idea, is that you have to start separating yourself and making sure that you are not in the same spaces as everybody else.
Even without saying anything was definitely a terrible one.
The trial will continue tomorrow here in Clackamas County with more.
Somebody says, nah, bro, look, this is a person that's going to advocate for him to do 8 years. Nah, bro, no real man is busting down a drunk chick knowing what it could cost him. So they both drinking, they both getting drunk, they both wake up in the middle of the night. She got his hands down her pants. Could he have made a better decision? Yes. That's not what we talking about. It's not about being a real man. It's about whether or not he deserves to go to prison for almost a decade. And no, he doesn't. So we can have two conversations. The first conversation can be, oh yeah, you got to make sure that you don't do things to put yourself in a compromised position and be more situationally aware. Agreed. But don't tell me that somebody is not a real man because they got accused of something and the chick consented and wanted to bust it down, but then all of a sudden she wanted to change her mind and feel some type of way about it. Then all of a sudden he not a real man. Y'all got to stop. Y'all got to stop. Stop. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. No, I'm not going for it. Everybody is consenting adults and everybody should be held accountable. And if she didn't like the fact that it probably wasn't some good D, he might have only lasted 2 minutes and never got in contact with her again. She probably feeling some type of way.
Guilty of the charge.
Former Portland Trailblazer Ben McLemore showed little emotion after a Clackamas County jury found him guilty of rape following a 2.5 week trial.
I don't know if y'all really know. First of all, the chick was mid. Probably a hot 3 or 4. That's number one. Number two, NBA players have no problem getting boxed. So y'all just sitting here talking. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just sitting here talking. I don't even know why I'm having this conversation with some people.
The jury convicted him on 3 counts: first-degree rape, first-degree sexual penetration.
All right, chill. You said so. Drunk women can give consent. All right, so let me ask you a question. If a man is drunk, and because we live in a world of equal, I like this conversation. If a man is drunk and then a woman is mid drunk, let's just say she buzzed or maybe she even sober. Let's give a best case scenario. And he wake up and her hands is on his jock, and then they wind up busting it down for a real one. Can you say that he gave consent, or did she take advantage of him, and should she do time in jail because he was drunk? If she's sober, because they both was drinking, they both was drunk, they both had drinks, whatever, it was a good night. If he's sober or she's sober and he's drunk and then she has sex with him, can he prosecute her for not being able to effectively give consent? I want to make sure that we all on the same page here. If she reached for the D, but he's drunk and she's sober, should she go to jail for not being able to get consent from him? Because why is consent only one way? And if we equal, and if we live in a society where we value men just as much as we value women, and men have rights too, should we apply that same logic? Because if you can't apply it for one way, then you shouldn't be able to apply it to the other way. Come on, let's talk about it. Why is the responsibility for grown adults only applicable to men is what I'm asking. Why is the responsibility for consent only one way? Why is this consent only one way? I need y'all to be able to have a conversation, not just based off of what you see the situation as being, but I need you to objectively observe it and look at our rules and our laws and evaluate it based off of that. It is no way that if she puts her hands in his pants for you to tell me that he should be convicted of rape. That's not rape, bro. I'm tired of y'all changing the definition of things to fit y'all narrative because we have these feminist things. I've always observed and have known rape to be, or I've always thought growing up, that this is a man and a woman is screaming, oh my God, no, all of this stuff, or he put a date rape drug in her drink, or, you know, he forcibly takes it, knocks her over, boom, beats her up, and then takes something forcibly, and then that's what you consider rape. That's what I've always, the definition has evolved so much over the years that if you blink wrong, if she seems uncomfortable in the process that she's already consented to, that can then be considered it. But then if you'll say, well, he shouldn't have been dealing with a broke chick, you'll automatically convict him and say that he should have been situationally aware. Come on, man, wake the fuck up, bro. Stop, bro. Because then this translates into a civil suit. Now she's going to try to sue him civilly.
And second-degree sexual abuse. Prosecutor Scott Healy.
You just don't do something like this to somebody and get away with it. I don't care who you are.
Prosecutors say McLemore raped a 21-year-old woman at a party in October of 2021. The assault happened at the Lake Oswego home of McLemore's then teammate, Robert Covington. During trial, the woman testified she was incapacitated after a night of heavy drinking and unable to consent.
There was no evidence, no rape kit, no police report, no none of that. This was a person later on coming up and saying, you know what? I don't think I consented. I'm mad. And that should not be the proof that you need in order to get somebody convicted for the rest of their life.
McLemore admitted he'd been drinking as well, but testified the sex was consensual.
She didn't show no signs of distress or discomfort, and didn't, give me no signs at all.
The prosecutor described the victim as brave for coming forward, reporting the crime, and then following the long road to justice.
Crime victims don't often report these cases, even when celebrities not involved. So she was very brave to do that. She followed through. She stuck with this. And, I think she's in a much better place now, and she can start the emotional healing process because she is very emotionally traumatized by
the emotional healing process.
Following the verdict, sheriff deputies took McLemore into custody. The former trailblazer.
It's messed up. So that's his life. He will be known probably more for this trial than he will be known for what he did on the basketball court. And that's messed up. And that is very, very messed up. It's unfortunate, but you got to be careful. Multiple different things can be true at the same time. Yes, you have to be careful. Yes, you have to be mindful. Yes, you should not get involved with chicks that don't have nothing to lose. Yes, you stop dealing with fours that throw up inside of the toilet. But it's messed up that he got to spend a ton of years in prison as a result of it. Let me read some of these super chats. Man, y'all be killing me arguing. I don't know. Just saw a video of a GT3 RS running into the back of a Jesco. Insurance company punching in the air right now. That's a big thing. He needs Young Thug's attorney, says Kelly. Brian, the filmmaker, says so one-sided. If both are drunk, then both can't consent. Only if the man, I don't know what that says at the end. I'm assuming that you have some typos. Chris Cunningham says, this is Daddy's Little Girls movie in real life. Miss Freckles says, watch the company you keep at all time, especially if you value your own life. Hashtag no time. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. All right, y'all, this last thing. Man, I've been going for 3 hours almost every day. Last thing that I want to talk about is layoffs. All right? Because I did a story on Friday about Microsoft laying off 9,000. I don't think it's so much about layoffs. I think it's more or less about pivoting. And when I say pivoting, I mean that there are certain industries, and this has been happening since the beginning of time. There are certain industries that are going to be upended. There are certain jobs that will no longer be needed. Even if you were in the technology field, you got to continue to keep up with your skill set, get new certs, you got to get new opportunities. I'm actually probably going to go back to school for architecture. I want to go back to school for architecture. I do. I don't want to just have my architect designing stuff, but it was the thing that I took in high school. In Cas Tech, we had curriculums where you basically could select whatever it is that you wanted to do. You can go into engineering. They had an engineering track where you can actually get credits before you went to college. They had business. They had lots of different things, right? And what I took was architecture, and I loved it. I loved architecture, and I thought that I was going to actually become an architect. At first, I thought I was going to be a mechanical engineer. Then I decided that I wanted to be an architect. And then I decided later on in life that I wanted to be a software engineer. And I made the best decision. But I'm strongly considering going back to school and becoming an architect. Because I think the thing that I love to do and the thing that I would like to do for the rest of my life, regardless of whether or not, 10 years, 20 years from now, I decide, okay, I want to give up content creation. I think that I would love to design houses and design buildings for the rest of my life. And so, I think I'm going to go back to school to become an architect. I figured it out. I've always knew that I was going to go back to school, but I actually wanted to get a degree in it. So, it's not because I need it. It's not because at this point in my life. Now, I think that I would do it because it's just meaningful to me. And I think that it's something that I would love to do. Rudy the Boxer says, with AI on the comeback, you're a fool to go back to school. Are you talking to me? I don't think you're talking to the right person. Is he talking to me? He's not talking to me, is he? I don't need school. I want to go because it's something that I want to accomplish for me. I'm not looking to get a job. I'm not looking to get into a firm. You're right, Justin. I'm doing it because I want to be able to design my own stuff and work with the cities and, the type of properties that I want to build long term. Somebody said there's no money in architecture. You crazy. There is money in architecture. But that's because y'all not familiar with how architects get paid, whether they working individually or in a firm or whatever. But it doesn't even matter. I want to go into architecture because I love architecture. It ain't got nothing to do with the money. Anyways, I'm starting to see people complaining, especially this guy in particular, said that he was getting laid off or he got laid off And so I want to evaluate this because I think that it's a difference between how women react to getting laid off and how men react to getting laid off. So let's get into it. I love you. I appreciate you. Let's rock, y'all.
Well, sitting here on my porch trying to get some fresh air. I found out yesterday that I was one of approximately 150 people in my organization that got laid off, restructuring, that's what we were told, whatever that means. The last 24 hours have been, actually 24 plus hours, I guess. It's now 28 hours. Have been pretty tough. A lot of emotions. It's really the first time I think I've ever been laid off in my, God knows how long I've been working. It seems like forever, 30 years maybe. I don't know, long time, 30 plus years. I think this is my first actual layoff. So, not performance based. You know, I'm eligible for rehire, so I guess that's a positive. But so now I'm out in the market at 53 years old. Don't know what's going to happen. Apparently, I do have some severance. Still waiting to find out the details on that. So at least I know I'm going to be carried for a little bit before I have to start dipping into any reserves or any other additional funds. Trying to avoid all that. So I think I'm going to try to keep track of this journey. I know there are a lot of people out there that are in the same boat with me or have been in the same boat. Job market's kind of crap right now, so not looking forward to trying to find a new one. So here's post one of I don't know how many, but we'll see where it goes from here.
Marcus G says, doing this selfie video nonsense is beta material. This is what chicks do, cry on selfies. First of all, I don't see him crying. He's just documenting the journey. And so if you're telling me that he shouldn't be posting and having conversations, because I believe that he was laid off from Microsoft. That's what the majority of his hashtags was on his video that people sent me, is that he was laid off from Microsoft. I don't see him crying. He's not whining. He's not complaining. He's just saying, hey, listen, laid off. Don't want to dip into the reserves. I'm going to keep you guys updated. This is what's happening in the economy. This is what's happening. He said he'd been laid off for less than 24 hours and he's going to get on top of it. I'm not really sure what he said or did to trigger y'all to make it seems like he's a beta. I don't understand. He was wasting energy by complaining that energy and time can be used to make his situation better. He's been laid off for less than 24 hours. I'm not really sure what you're talking about. He didn't say I've been laid off for 6 months. He didn't say I've been laid off for a week. He didn't say that I'm crying and complaining about it. He didn't say that he was losing anything. He said I've been laid off for 24 hours. Just got the insight. Now I'm pivoting and I got to figure out what to do. And I'm not going to dip into my reserves. This is what my prospects are. I'm going to keep you guys updated. I'm not really understanding what you're saying. Y'all so tough. Y'all is the toughest niggas I've ever seen in my life. Y'all are the toughest, richest, most masculine, alpha conservatives that I've ever seen in my entire life. And then this would be the same nigga saying, well, men got problems too. Men got emotions too. Why don't you be understanding? He didn't even say anything. He just said that, listen, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to pay attention to it. I'm going to keep y'all updated on what's going on. Chris Cunningham, I agree. People just be talking. Man, that's beta. Well, I'm the most beta motherfucker it is because I will pull out my camera phone in 5 seconds and be like, yeah, man, so let me keep y'all up to date on what's going on out in these streets. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I am probably, if that is the definition of a beta, is recording yourself on camera, then I am absolutely the most beta motherfucker that you know. 100%. because I love documenting the journey. I think that that's probably one of the most empowering things, is because I get to go back and see how far I've come. I'm not going to whine about it. I'm not going to complain about it. He didn't blame anybody for it. And this is one of the reasons why I got to give him props, is because he's not whining and complaining. He's just dealing with the situation. And I think that we need this level of visibility, because he's just saying, listen, I know that I'm in this situation. I know this is what's happening. And so this is how I'm going to deal with it. And I'm going to keep you guys posted, especially if you want to be a content creator. Documenting the journey is the things that endear people to you. Now, on the flip side, what I've seen from women is much, much different. This is how women tend to handle it.
So, I've said it before that I lost my job. I got fired. It's going on a month now. And I'm still waiting on unemployment. I haven't gotten any updates, so I haven't gotten any money yet. Luckily, my dad, who's in his fucking 80s, is helping me, and that's really embarrassing, and I don't want to put that pressure on him when he shouldn't have to deal with it. But anyway, I'm really lucky. I'm lucky that someone is helping support me, but I'm just really frustrated this morning. I was gonna work out, and my bags are crazy and whatever, but I just got a rejection from a sales associate position at an art store, and it's like, I'm not just applying for things in my field. I've been applying for 2 years before I even got fired, and I didn't get a single interview. I am signed up for this course because I think it'll help my resume, but I'm not afraid to work. So I applied for like barista positions. I applied at Anthropology. I applied at Uniqlo. And they won't hire me either. I'm getting told I don't have enough experience for a barista position. Well, I don't have enough experience to get a job in content marketing either, you know, and I would start at the bottom. I would be an assistant. I would run someone's calendar. Like, I don't care, but I feel like I'm too fucking old, and I feel like there's nothing I can do about that.
Now, this is the difference. You have one guy that's saying, listen, I'm 53. You know, I'm still on the map. It wasn't performance based. I am eligible to be rehired. And, you know, I want to make sure that I'm just documenting the journey. And I don't plan on dipping into my reserves. And so I'm looking to get a new job or get rehired back at some point. I'll keep you guys updated. This woman jumps off the bridge and is crying, bawling, need help. 80-year-old father is taking her in, taking care of her. Didn't mention that she had any kids. I don't know if she has any kids, but she's about to fall apart. This is the difference between men and women. And I want to make this very, very clear that women regularly say things like, oh man, we better than y'all. We stronger than y'all. We can endure through more. We got the move. We can do this. We can do that. I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm not seeing this. I'm not seeing the strong, independent women that got a better perspective, that is strong enough to handle it. I see women that freak the fuck out. They be crashing and they still be needing help. And here's the thing. Men understand when we get into this world, nobody cares about us. Nobody cares about our tears. Nobody cares about how long we've been laid off. That doesn't mean that you're automatically going to get a job. It doesn't necessarily translate into somebody helping you. You just got to take your L and you got to figure it out. You got to take your L and you got to figure it out. I remember when I thought that I was going to get laid off way back in the day. I was already on it. I was already putting myself in a position. When I thought that it was a possibility, when I started hearing rumblings, when I started looking around, and before there even started having to be conversations, I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and put things together. After 2008, in my mind, I said, you know what? I'm going to learn from this, and I'm never only going to have 1 or 2 or 3 versions of income. I'm going to have multiple different sources of income. I don't care if it's multiple different jobs. I don't care if it's other investments. even to today, bro, I don't know if you want to call it learn lessons, PTSD or whatever. Even today, no matter how much money I make, and I make a crazy amount of money, do you know that I still be thinking to myself, man, I got to make more investments. I need to build more of this. I need to make sure I put more money up and all of this stuff. And then I had to catch myself one time and I was like, for what? For what? I'm straight. And then you calm yourself down because you live your whole life making sure that you prepare yourself because you don't ever want your daughter to suffer or you don't want the people around you to suffer. And so it's a mentality. It's a conditioning that men have. Women go get a job. Oh, I'm winning. I'm about to buy a house. I'm about to do this. I'm about to do that. Men be like, I don't know if we there yet. I don't know if we got enough money yet. Hold on for a second. Let's stack a little bit more. Let's be a little bit more focused. And obviously this ain't all men. But in a general sense, men are thinking 200 steps ahead and they working out all of the possibilities like Doctor Strange. And women be like, let's live. Women then spent a year's salary before they actually even got the job. Men be working it out. Men be working it out. Immediately in their head, they working out everything. Women just fold. They just frazzle. I don't know what it is.
I'm gonna be 35, and maybe they think that they don't want someone selling clothes, or in this case, art supplies.
Think about that. She's talking about, I don't know if I'm too old. She said 35.
Maybe they think that they don't want someone. I'm gonna be 35. And
this chick said, I'm too old. I'm gonna be 35. First of all, that's a hard ass 35 right there. That's a hard 35, first of all. Secondly, she said that she's too old because she's 35 and nobody will be able to hire her. Come on, man. This is the difference. This is the difference. This is a difference. It's that liberal lifestyle. Got you looking 35, baby. Stressed out. You could be in... I'm about to laugh at myself before I even start going in. Do you know you can be in a house making sandwiches for some man and not having to be dealing with this? When I left the house today, because my flight was later, so I took it was a 3.5 hour flight from, I believe, Salt Lake City over to Detroit. And I wound up taking a later flight. So my flight didn't land till like 11:30, right? And I got up this morning. I didn't set an alarm because I don't set alarms no more because I say I'm asleep till I'm not tired no more. And then I get up because I think that is the best way for us to have mental health, right? And I go brush my teeth, shave my head, jump in the shower, got to shave my head, got to keep the head clean, right? And I go and do that. And so I look over and I look at Rita. You know, I split my time between downtown and this house in the suburbs. Knocked out. And then I go and I check on my daughter and I crack open her bedroom. Knocked out. No alarm, no nothing. I asked her yesterday. I asked my daughter yesterday. I said, what you got up? Because she was like, Dad, we getting in at like 11 something at night. I said, what you got to do tomorrow? Nothing. Oh, okay. Rita, what you got up tomorrow? I want to go shopping and I think I want to get my nails done. And I think I'm going to get a massage tomorrow. So what time you waking up? I don't know. You could be in a house making somebody a sandwich, baby. You could be in the house with an apron on making dinner. But no, y'all wanted to be independent. You wanted to be out here competing. You said that you wanted to do that. 35 is not midlife. 40 to 45 is midlife. 40 to 45 is midlife. It's not 35 is not midlife. Not even close. You got another 80 years, baby, at 35 years old. Pull up your big girl pants. Time to grind.
Maybe they think that they don't want someone selling clothes, or in this case, art supplies, that's fucking decrepit, or, you know, they don't want to hire an assistant who isn't 24. I don't know if it's the optics. I don't know if it's embarrassing. I don't know if it's against policy, but it just feels like I don't know what.
Always Sunny says, Anton, you seem angrier than in the past. Do I seem angry to y'all? Honestly, I want to know in my chat. Do I seem angry to y'all? Because I would say that I am much nicer than I am in the past. If you say, you must say in the past is something pretty recent, because let me tell you something. 2 to 3 years ago, I would cuss you out and call you a bitch to your face. Like, boy, I was a savage on these panels. When I would go put on my black hoodie and get comfortable, everybody getting cussed out. Everybody getting cussed out. The host is getting cussed out. I'm going to cuss myself out. I'm cussing out everybody. Everybody's getting cussed out. I was a savage. I have really mellowed out, to be honest with y'all. I laugh when I'm cracking on y'all now. I'm really nice. I'm really, really, really nice. Even when I crack jokes on y'all, I'll be laughing. I'm angry, y'all. You think I'm meaner? 2020 AD was my mama came over and prayed for me one time. I ain't even gonna cap. She said, you gotta relax. I said, man, everybody getting it. I ain't said F your feelings. I ain't said none of that. I've been chilling. I do curse a lot more, but it's just because I'm not trying to not curse. That's all. But man, you should come and meet me in person. I'm a vibe. I am a very, 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 very cool, chill, relaxed vibe, man. We have good times. We all spend money. We have an awesome time, man. That's it.
To fucking do. I don't know how to get out of this situation. And I feel like this every day. So yeah, just maybe this will help some people who are going through it too, just to know that you're not alone. But, yeah, I'll do anything.
I think that men and women react to life events way differently. Obviously, way, way, way differently. Most women can't handle what is happening today and in the economy and all of that stuff. Is my TV back working? Is my internet back on yet? I need to test my internet. That's not good. That's not right. They need to come and fix that. How come they don't ever give me no discount, or they don't pay me for the days that they not working right? Anyways, I think that the way that women and men react to success and failure is differently. Somebody told me the other day, they said, man, why you not celebrating your successes? I said, because I ain't got there yet. But you on your way to get to the point, to get to the number, or to get to the thing that you said that you was chasing. I said, I'm not counting my chickens before it hatch. I got work to do. That means that I need to ramp up. That means that I need to grind some more. I think that women get more relaxed and men become more aggressive, if that makes any sense. But I hope that she finds a job. I hope that he does well and that he finds a job. And the one thing that I will say is make sure that you guys never, ever, ever, under any circumstance, put all of your eggs in one basket. I don't know anybody in my lifetime that has never been laid off. Every single person that I've ever met in my entire life that has ever had a job has been laid off or let go at some point at some time. And so you want to make sure that you keeping yourself in a position where you can leverage the resources and the successes. And I don't care how great of a job you got. You always got to have something that you're working on, something in a fire, something that you can lean on in the event that a life event happens or you get laid off or the company goes under or something like that. Never put all of your eggs in one basket. All right. Great show. Great show. Excellent show. Excellent show. I had a ball. What about you guys? I think it's going to be a great week ahead. I'm looking forward to it, and I think that it's going to be awesome. Q show tonight. And y'all got me mindful not to say hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, none of that stuff. Q show tonight, so that should be awesome. And I'm going to try to do a Patreon live stream tomorrow because I got to catch a flight on Wednesday. So Wednesday, I got to catch a flight somewhere. I got to go out of town. And so I'm going to try to do a Patreon live stream either Tuesday or like Thursday when I get back settled. But I'm going to try to do one tomorrow. So make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Tiege Hanley. Thank you to Tiege Hanley for always holding me down. You was rocking out with me before all of the sponsors tried to start hitting me up. I'm not even talking to no sponsors until after we hit 1 million. So Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. And the best time to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month. Yo, Chasers, where we going in September? Where we going for the next meetup? Or should we just do the meetup to celebrate 1 million? I think that we should do the meetup to celebrate 1 million. I think it's going to be great. That way I can hire somebody. I can make it exclusive just to us. I can hire some entertainment. Maybe we do it big. Maybe we do it super big on 1 million. I don't know. But anyways, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest audience on earth. And who is this? Let me see something real quick. Yeah, the internet is still dusty. Y'all are the greatest audience on earth. And the same time tomorrow, we back at it. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.